Family cultivation. My mobile phone traveled through time. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 501, Xuanji's engine preaching. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the outer area was attacked by the demons. Led by the Kunpeng demons, large spells attacked the formation one after another. The formation was shaking violently, but it could withstand wave after wave of attacks. Xuanji arrived at Xuanji Peak, operated the formation, and began to counter the demons' attacks. The demons' attacks were very fierce, but it was difficult to break the formation here. Seeing this scene, Xuanji couldn't help but sigh. It's good to have a strong backer, and it's good to lean on a big tree to enjoy the shade. If a casual cultivator attacks the spirit transformation, he may worry about being sniped by some strong people. But Fiayu's engine, with the Danliang sect as a backer, hid in the mountain gate to attack the spirit transformation. Even Kunpeng Yaozan couldn't do anything and could only stare blankly outside. The demon cultivators outside attacked fiercely, but they couldn't shake the formation here. The so-called attack was more to disgust people. It was more to interfere with Fiayu's engine's mentality. If Fiayu's engine had a bad mentality and died in the calamity, that would be the best. If not, then evacuate. The demon clan outside continued to attack, sweeping in like a tide. In Danliang sect, Fiayu's engine was as steady as a mountain, sitting on the Tao platform, refining the Earth Soul and the Sky Soul. As he continued to refine, the aura on his body began to rise, and the nascent soul was slowly transforming into the Yuanshan. This process was extremely slow, lasting for 3 years, and the aura on Fiayu's engine rose. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the calamity clouds in the sky gathered together, and the mountain rain was about to come, turning into terrifying calamity clouds. Fiayu's engine flashed his steps, and left the mountain gate to face the calamity. Seeing this scene, the Kunpeng demon clan sighed and evacuated thousands of miles away. The demon clan monks who were originally besieging also evacuated one after another, fearing that they would be affected by the calamity if they were slower. The calamity clouds were condensing, and the dark calamity clouds became more and more, gradually turning into a size of thousands of miles. There were thunder and lightning brewing inside, lightning and thunder, silver snakes dancing, and golden dragons rising and falling. The first catastrophe was blasted away. Fiayu's engine stepped forward and activated his magic to blast away. The catastrophe dissipated. After a pause of 3 breaths, the second catastrophe came. The third catastrophe came. The fourth catastrophe came. The catastrophes came one after another, one more fierce than the other. The cultivators present were all worried and looking forward to this scene. Boom boom boom. When it came to the 7th catastrophe, Fiayu's engine vomited blood, and the wound on his body was a bit big. At the 8th catastrophe, the injury increased again. The 9th catastrophe blasted down, and Fiayu's engine activated the golden alchemy furnace to attack. Boom boom boom. The catastrophe dissipated, and Fiayu's engine was exhausted, and his breath was extremely weak. His body was like a dead tree, without a trace of human. Only a faint breath remained, proving that he was still alive. Die. Kunpeng Yaozan stepped forward, and was about to blast Fiayu's engine. Danliang Xianzan took action, and blasted out with a punch. With a loud noise, Kunpeng Monster Lord flew backwards 10 miles away. Daoyao, please retreat. Danliang Xianzan said. What a pity. Kunpeng Monster Lord said, waving his hand to put many monsters into his sleeves, and disappeared in a stream of light. Thank you, Master. Fiayu's engine stepped forward and said. Okay. Danliang Xianzan said, go back and recuperate. Fiayu's engine didn't say much and disappeared directly. He successfully passed the tribulation and became a god transforming Xianzan, but he was also seriously injured during the tribulation, less than 1% of his peak moment. At this moment, not to mention that the god transforming strongman can't beat him, even ordinary nascent soul cultivators still have to recuperate. Seeing Fiayu's engine leave, everyone was happy. The successful birth of the sixth god transforming means that other cultivators can also break the shackles and become god transforming. After saying goodbye to everyone, Xuanji also left. On the way back, he was also trying to figure out the changes. In his perception, Master Fiu was still a little bit inferior in terms of qualifications. He was reluctant to receive the heavenly soul or survive the heavenly tribulation. It was just because the times had changed that the difficulty of a cultivator's breakthrough had decreased. A cultivator who was originally impossible to break through had broken through. After returning to the Lu family, it was only half a day before he felt a sound in the void. A cultivator of the Lu family broke through the shackles and began to survive the tribulation. Some were striving for the golden elixir, and some were striving for the primordial infant. The tribulation was endless and the destruction continued. During the tribulation, most cultivators died, but a few cultivators succeeded. There were 5 more golden elixir cultivators and 3 purple mansion cultivators. I will open the altar to preach. At this time, Xuanji spoke in a voice transmission. Changshu County, where many immortal cultivation families are located, and the competition among the immortal cultivation families is fierce. In just one county, there are 7 golden elixir families, 80 purple mansion families, and thousands of foundation building families. There are all kinds of people here, and the competition is quite fierce. Due to a rule in the world of immortal cultivation, certain fights and duels rarely lead to the extermination of a family, but there are many fights that happen openly or covertly. At this moment, on the island, an old man and a young man sat down on the embankment. The young man said, "Grandpa, what happened recently? Why did you summon me?" The old man smiled and said, "Not long ago, there was a rumor that the Lu family was going to hold a preaching conference." Preaching conference? The young man pondered and asked, "Lu family? Which Lu family?" In the territory of Chu, there are many families with the surname Lu, but the most famous is the Lu family of Changyuan Mountain. The old man smiled and said, "You have just established your foundation, and you can be considered a genius, but you need to understand some common sense. 4,000 years ago, Changyuan Mountain was just a purple mansion family, and the strongest ancestor was just a purple mansion cultivator. But 1,000 years ago, true Lord Xuanji was born. He only practiced for 1,000 years, and reached the 7th level of the nascent soul. He once killed 3 cultivators of the 9th level of the nascent soul. He was famous. Because of his existence, the Lu family became the top immortal cultivation family in Chu. Up to now, the Lu family has 18 true lords of the nascent soul, more than 300 golden core true lords, tens of thousands of purple mansion cultivators, and other foundation building cultivators and key training cultivators. There are too many to count. It is rumored that King Dian has some fate with the Lu family, and even the forces of the god of transformation are courteous to the Lu family. Not long ago, the ancestor of the Lu family, Xuanji's engine, was going to give a lecture. At that time, all cultivators above the foundation building stage could go and listen. This is a supreme opportunity for us. You'd better go and listen. If you are destined to worship this Zenjin as your teacher, it would be a supreme fortune. It's just impossible to think about it." The old man shook his head and looked at his grandson, thinking that the possibility was not great. His grandson was a special spiritual root, which was considered a top genius, but Xuanji's engine was such a person, and had seen so many geniuses. This little talent was nothing. The young man said, "The great way should not be passed on lightly." Could it be that the true Lord wants to tell you some scriptures? In the world of cultivating immortals, high-level skills are all monopolized by some big families and big sects. My Zhao family is still a little shallow, and there is no way to join a sect, but if you want to buy it from outside, you lack money. The old man laughed and said, "It's possible that you can take advantage of this opportunity to get some top-level skills for free." "My child understands," said the young man. Back then, my Zhao family was also a Jindan family, and it was also famous. It was a pity that it encountered a beast tide and the mountain gate was breached. Most of the cultivators died, and only a few cultivators escaped, but they also lost the inheritance. The old man recalled the past, and his heart was full of sorrow. "Grandpa, I will revitalize the Zhao family," said the young man. "I hope so," the old man said. "Don't be too stressed. I'm old and not very useful anymore. Everything depends on you. A few days later, Xuanji followed his grandfather and stepped into the Changyuan Mountain Dojo. He couldn't help but look restrained. Xuanji saw foundation building monks walking around everywhere. Purple Palace monks were like cabbages, and even the Golden Elixir monks were respectful and trembling. There were also some Yuanying monks, standing respectfully, like students. In normal times, foundation building monks like him were considered superior people, upper class people, and everyone who saw him outside would have to respect him. But here, he was just the most inconspicuous existence. Those high-ranking Purple Palace ancestors in the past were cautious and restrained their momentum when they came here and did not dare to be arrogant. After arriving at the dojo, he received the futon, sat there, and waited quietly for the meeting to start. There were more and more monks on the square. He only took a rough look and found that there were about 130,000 monks gathered here, starting from the lowest foundation building stage and the highest Yuanying monk. Why are there so many people? Xuanji took a breath of cold air, gritted his teeth, and felt that the world was different. In the past, the Foundation was considered a superior person, and the Purple Mansion Patriarch could shake it, but here it is as worthless as cabbage. Grandpa said, I heard that this time, not only the cultivators of my Chu state heard the news, but also a large number of cultivators from U state, Wu state, and the East China Sea came. Xuanji's engine killed more than 20 Yuanying cultivators, and not long ago he killed a half step into the spirit. Only the god of transformation can kill Xuanji's engine. It's just the god of transformation, so you can't send it out easily. Xuanji's engine has the most hope to become a god of transformation in the future. Xuanji listened and was shocked again and understood the influence of Xuanji's engine. Among the Yuanying's engine, there are 4 categories. The first category, most of them barely enter the Yuanying realm, and they can't enter the peak of the Yuanying, even if they practice hard for a lifetime. This type of cultivator occupies as many as 8 levels among the Yuanying cultivators. The second category is qualified to enter the peak of the Yuanying, but cannot go further. The third category has the hope of entering the half step into the spirit, but cannot go further. The fourth category has the hope of attaining enlightenment and becoming a god. Xuanji's engine is the fourth category. The monks who participated in this preaching conference were a mixed crowd. Such an opportunity is so precious. It may only happen once in a lifetime. As long as you comprehend a little bit, you will gain something. Grandson understands. Xuanji nodded and said. Time passed quickly, and about 3 days later, many cultivators gathered together. I saw a man in white sitting down in the void. He was handsome and unparalleled, surrounded by immortal energy, as if an immortal had descended. Sitting there, the man in white exuded a trace of terrifying aura, as if the mountains and rivers changed drastically in a thought, and the world was turned upside down in a thought. It seemed that he became the center of the world in an instant, and the heaven and earth rose for me, and the sun and the moon danced for me. I opened my eyes, and the world existed. I closed my eyes, and the world disappeared. Everyone sighed in their hearts, and their minds changed, as if they had encountered an immortal, and could only look up. Soon, everyone gathered their thoughts, and hurriedly stood up and saluted. Greetings, true lord. There were foundation building cultivators, purple mansion cultivators, and golden elixir cultivators, and even those nascent soul cultivators bowed to greet them. Xuanji sat cross-legged on the Taoist platform, looking at everyone with an elegant expression, and couldn't help feeling a little emotional in his heart. Time is like a song, the world of mortals rolls, and in the blink of an eye, 1,000 years have passed. Now, he is already 1,200 years old. Recalling his past life, everything in his past life has dissipated, and become more and more vague. 1,000 years ago, he was just a small key training cultivator, and he was still fighting bloody battles for a foundation building pill, which he couldn't get. But now time flies, and today he is sitting on this high platform, above the 9-day cloud, looking at the more than 100,000 cultivators in front of him, but there are no more acquaintances from the past. The figures of the past that can still be seen today, except for the few people from the Lu family and a few Taoist companions. There are no other people. 1,000 years have passed, and too many cultivators have died. Gathering his mind, Xuanji said, "Before preaching, I will tell you the rules. Preaching is for inheritance. I don't ask for your repayment, but I ask for a clear conscience. Please take good care of our human race, and don't learn from the demons to slaughter our human race. You must remember that no matter how high your cultivation is, you are still human. Those living beings are our compatriots, not ants. People must not forget their roots. If you want to become an immortal, you must first be a human. If you can't even be a human, how can you be qualified to become an immortal?" Hearing this, everyone said respectfully, "We will follow the teachings of the true Lord." Xuanji nodded and said calmly, "Then let's start this conference on Taoism." He began to talk, from the simple to the complex, and began to talk about the levels and key points of key training, focusing on some subtle points. Everyone listened and practiced on the spot and made modifications. The advanced cultivators felt that there was not much change, but the faces of the foundation building cultivators changed. It was only a slight change in the skills, but the skills were running more smoothly. The amount of true ki was decreasing. Some were reduced by 1 layer, and some were reduced by 3 layers. The amount of true ki was decreasing, but the quality of true ki was improving. Between this increase and decrease, there was a supreme opportunity. Then, Xuanji talked about the secrets of foundation building, the changes in the flow of true ki, the running levels, etc. The foundation building cultivators present made slight changes, and their cultivation did not increase, but the speed of true ki flowed more smoothly, and they felt indescribably comfortable all over. Then, Xuanji talked about some secrets of impacting the purple mansion, as well as the tempering of spiritual energy, etc. And for the 8 major attributes such as gold, wood, water, fire, earth, ice, thunder and wind, each of them deduced a set of skills, and began to spread them. These 8 sets of skills have different attributes, with high popularity, low resource consumption, easy to get started, strong combat power at the same level, and high upper limit. As for the disadvantage, it requires high comprehension. It is specially prepared for those low-level monks who have no money to buy advanced skills. Chapter 502 Xuan Huang Body Refining Technique. Xuanji said, "These volumes of exercises are simple to learn, easy to practice, and consume few resources. The disadvantage is that they will reduce the potential of the cultivators. After choosing these exercises, the future path will be much more difficult, and it will cost a huge price to make up for it." He began to narrate, talking about the mysteries and the operation routes. The exercises he described were relatively unconventional, extreme, and somewhat unconventional. To a certain extent, they belong to the magic method, but they are also suitable for low-level casual cultivators. Most low-level casual cultivators have no qualifications, no comprehension, no resources, and limited prospects, or simply no prospects. For them, the future is not important, and the present is the most important. As for the loss of potential, not having a future is not important. Suddenly, 7 levels of cultivators present listened carefully, and after listening, they gradually modified their exercises, and switched to new ones. After 3 days of continuous narration, Xuanji spoke again. "The paths of these volumes of cultivation methods are limited. If you want to increase the upper limit, you can practice Xuan Huang refining body art." As he spoke, he focused on this cultivation method, which was considered to make up for the previous quick success method. Xuan Huang refining body art has low requirements for comprehension and qualifications, but it costs more spirit stones and other cultivation resources, and requires krypton gold, which is a bit difficult for cultivators. After narrating these, he began to talk about some difficulties in the purple mansion realm, as well as the comprehension of certain magical skills and the changes of certain anomalies. Finally, he began to talk about the precautions for breaking through the golden core realm. It involves the tempering of the spirit, the perfection of one's own avenue, the method of obtaining luck, the control of the secrets of heaven, etc. He started from the shallow and gradually talked about the profound places. At the beginning, many cultivators could understand it, but gradually, the more they listened, the more confused they felt, the more they felt dizzy, and they felt that they were in a fog, and didn't understand what was said. Xuanji didn't explain much, but started to cramming education. Cramming education has many disadvantages. but the biggest advantage is the low cost. It doesn't matter if you can't understand it now. You can carefully record it on the jade slips. In the future, you will understand it more, and read it more, and you will have a deep understanding. After a month of narration, Xuanji stopped narrating. The Purple Mansion chapter is over. Next, I will talk about the Golden Pill chapter. Xuanji said, the Tao cannot be passed on lightly. If it is passed on lightly, it is not the Tao. I will only tell the Golden Pill chapter to the Golden Pill Master. If you want to listen to my preaching, you need to meet 3 conditions. The first is that after learning, you must not use my reputation to bully the weak and do evil. If you do evil and I know about it, I will definitely capture and kill you. Second, after learning, you must not harm anyone in my Lu family. Third, you must pay a certain amount of spirit stones. Preaching is a favor, but it will also bring certain troubles. Just like Tangshan sect master, there is no distinction between the teachings. No matter what the cultivator is, or what his identity is, as long as he comes to seek refuge, he will preach to him, regardless of his character or integrity. This is good, but it can also be bad. This certainly enhanced the reputation of Master Tangshan, but it also attracted a lot of scum. Marshan directly ate people, someone set fire to the city, and another person directly spread the plague. They were so bad that they were smoking. As for the Chan sect, there were many hypocrites, but at least they insisted on being human. When faced with the moment when his disciples did evil, Master Tangshan chose to help his relatives instead of the reason, and chose loyalty instead of justice. The first one was a warning. You can learn my skills, but you can't use my skills to do evil. You can't let me take the blame, otherwise if I find out, I will go and punish you severely. The second one was also to protect the people of the Lu family. As for the last one, it was to let the cultivators understand that everything has a price. Don't think about getting something for free, and don't think that getting something for free is a matter of course. Senior, it should be so. Many golden elixirs said one after another. Okay, Xuanji said, and directly sealed the surrounding void. Talking about the 9 turns of the golden elixir, the content was quite detailed, but when it came to the 3rd turn, it was very vague. It was talking about human calamity, life calamity, and heavenly calamity again. Many giant and cultivators present listened, their expressions changed slightly. Another unfamiliar giant and cultivator boldly asked, Senior, how should cultivators like me survive the 3 tribulations of the nascent soul? Heavenly tribulations are easy to overcome, but human tribulations are unpredictable, and life tribulations are terrible. Xuanji said, at night, you should ask yourself, ask your heart, why am I qualified to achieve the nascent soul? Why am I qualified to seek immortality? Some people will say that I'm the son of luck, I have strong luck, and I have encountered many adventures along the way. Or, I have good comprehension, excellent qualifications, and a strong background, so I'm qualified to achieve the nascent soul. However, among the vast number of living beings, giant and cultivators are not special. Many people think they are the darlings of heaven and the pride of the times, but in fact they are just ants. If a cultivator wants to achieve the nascent soul, 2 conditions are required. One is that heaven gives opportunities, and the other is to work hard to seize the opportunities given by heaven. At this point, Xuanji said, I often say that cultivators should accumulate virtue and do good deeds, do more good things for people, and make more contributions to the human race. This is the truth. If you do more good things, you will be favored by the destiny of humanity. When you cross the calamity will be much smaller and you will be able to turn danger into safety. Human calamity and life calamity are the calamities formed for the destiny of cultivators. If the destiny is strong, you can turn danger into safety. If the destiny is insufficient, you will die a violent death. Everyone listened. Some looked happy, but most were indifferent. Among the hundreds of giant and real people present, only 1 or 2 were qualified to impact the nascent soul. For many cultivators, it is good to be able to reach the peak of Giandan, and there is no need to think too much about impacting the nascent soul. Xuanji smiled and began to talk about great divine power. Cultivation determines the lifespan of cultivators. Divine power determines the combat effectiveness of cultivators. Next, Xuanji talked about the great magical powers such as Heavenly Fire Burning Blade, Tai Platinum Slash, Xuanchen Health Preservation Technique, Frozen Killing Technique, Nirvana Rebirth Technique, Indestructible Vajra Body, etc. and systematically analyze them and analyze the secrets of their changes. The Chindan Zenran present listened carefully. In the intervals, monks asked questions one after another. Xuanji also responded. Everyone suddenly realized and had a profound understanding. About 3 days later, the sermon ended. Some monks left one after another, and some monks stayed where they were. It was just because after the sermon, it was the stage of accepting disciples. Many monks wanted to worship under Xuanji Zenjin and seek a future. In the world of cultivating immortals, talent is important, hard work is important, but background and resources are more important. If you can worship under Xuanji Zenjin and seek his guidance and protection, the future path will be broader and there will be a brighter future. Chapter 503, Accepting a Disciple, Immortal Body. It is good to lean on a big tree for shade. In the world of immortal cultivation, it is very important to have a backer. To some extent, having a backer is more important than hard work. Preaching is a benefit given to cultivators, but the next stage of recruiting disciples is what everyone is looking forward to. Unfortunately, there is also a threshold for recruiting disciples. In the Lu family's external announcement, Xuanji Zenjin will recruit disciples at the foundation building stage. Those with too weak cultivation will not be accepted. Those with too strong cultivation will not be accepted, even if they have the Purple Palace Golden Pill. There are 4 levels of assessment. The first level assesses character. Those with poor character will not be accepted. The second level assesses comprehension. Those with poor comprehension will not be accepted. The third level assesses luck. Those with poor luck will not be accepted. The fourth level tests the qualifications of spiritual roots. Character is the most important. If one has poor character, but strong talent and cultivation, raising a white-eyed wolf like Xiaoyi will be a disaster. After the 4 levels were announced, cultivators immediately stepped forward and entered the level breaking process. At the 4th level, Xuanji was waiting. Next to him was Xianchen Zenjin. Daoyao, it's rare that you can calm down and start cultivating the younger generation. Xianchen Zenjin said. In 200 years at most, I will break through to the spiritual transformation stage. By then, life and death will be unpredictable, so it is better to leave behind the Taoist tradition in advance. Xuanji said, Daoyao, why did you come to my Lu family? Xianchen Zenjin said, we came to counterattack the monster clan. We plan to work together to expand the strategic space. Over the years, our human race has failed one after another, and the state of Qi lost half of its territory. There was also a major war on the East China Sea, and most of the territory of the states of Wu and Yu fell. The situation is not good. Not long ago, Dongji Xianzhen planned to launch a counterattack against the monster clan. Xuanji asked, how many cultivators do they need to mobilize? Xianchen Zenjin said, there is no need for Purple Mansion cultivators and Golden Core cultivators. Only Yuanying Zenjin will be dispatched for a short assault. This Dongji token was given to you by Dongji Xianzhen. It can be used to save your life at a critical moment. After finishing speaking, True Lord Xianzhen disappeared. True Lord Xianzhen was only at the 3rd level of the nascent soul, just an inconspicuous little person, but he brought the news of the counterattack of Dongji Xianzhen. Not only True Lord Xianzhen, but also other inconspicuous True Lords were walking around and delivering news. Is this the Dongji order? The peace is over, and we are about to enter the bloody battle stage. Xuanji frowned slightly. After activating the Dongji order, he immediately felt a huge force surging on it, which could be stimulated at the critical moment, and transformed into a protective magical power, to resist the attack of the powerful god transformation. With the Dongji order protecting the body, it means that, even if the god transformation attacks, there is also a chance to save his life. Generally speaking, god transformation strongmen will not attack nascent soul cultivators, because it is not worth it. But there are exceptions to everything. The existence of the Dongji order is to prevent certain accidents. Hey, someone has reached the 4th level. At this moment, Xuanji suddenly sensed something, and sat upright, waiting for something. The void was changing, and Zhao reached the 4th level. The 4th level is to test the qualifications of the cultivator. Thinking back to the first 3 levels, his mind was fluctuating. Swish. At this moment, he reached the 4th level. In front of him, there stood a man with a majestic aura like a mountain, exuding a terrifying aura, with a handsome face, like an immortal. It was Master Xuanji. Greetings senior. Zhao said. Not bad, not bad. Lu Xuanji said, on the road of cultivation, character is the first priority. If the character is not good, no matter how good the qualifications and comprehension are, it is a disaster. I don't want to cultivate someone who is ungrateful. Therefore, the first level is the illusion test, which tests the character of the cultivator. In the illusion, you withstand the test. I just hope that you still keep your original intention. Zhao said, senior, I will. Lu Xuanji said, the second level tests comprehension. In my opinion, understanding is very important on the road of cultivation. Before the golden elixir, it mainly depends on the qualifications of the cultivator, but after the golden elixir, it depends on the cultivator's understanding. The later the stage, the more important the understanding is. The third level tests the luck, mainly to detect whether the cultivator has great luck. In fact, whether it is a disciple of the immortal way or a disciple of the demon sect, the most important thing after cultivation is to travel the world, find natural treasures, and ancient relics. This is a necessary part of cultivation, called encountering immortal fate. The greater the adventure of the cultivator, the deeper the immortal fate. A cultivator must have great perseverance and persistence to succeed for more than half, but the other half depends on luck. As the saying goes, man proposes, God disposes. How difficult is it for a mortal to cultivate the immortal way? It is not easy to reverse the destiny and change life by relying on one's own strength alone. You must have luck and immortal fate, and rely on external forces. This is also luck. Speaking of this, Lu Xuanji said, it seems that there are 4 levels of tests, but in fact there are only 3 levels of tests. As long as he goes through the first 3 tests, and comes to see me here, even if his aptitude is a little worse, even if he is a cultivator with 5 spiritual roots, I will accept him as my disciple. Kneel down and become my disciple. Zhao was overjoyed, and knelt on the ground on the spot, kowtowed. He felt excited. When he stepped onto the 4th level, he was nervous, because he only had a different spiritual root. Different spiritual roots, although they seem to have good aptitude, are nothing to a Yuanying's engine. Just now, among the cultivators who participated in the assessment, there were 5 heavenly spiritual roots and some special physiques. Like him, without a special physique, and with average spiritual root aptitude, he might be eliminated. But who would have thought that the 4th level was dispensable? What's your name? My disciple. My name is Zhao. Not bad. Lu Xuanji smiled and said, good name. Come forward, let me check your physique. Master, I still don't need to check it. My aptitude is average. I'm just a mortal body, without a special physique. Speaking of this, Zhao flashed a hint of inferiority. After a cultivator reaches the foundation building realm, he will begin to awaken a special physique. But he has reached the 3rd level of foundation building, and has not yet awakened a special physique. It is obviously a mortal body, but he still went forward to check. Lu Xuanji went forward to check, his divine sense flashing, constantly insight into the secrets of his body, but found that it was indeed a mortal body. He was about to retract his divine sense, but at this moment, he urged his mobile phone to scan. The phone was ringing, but it was some news. The cultivator in front of him is an immortal body. The immortal body has no strong attack power, no rich blood, and almost no combat power blessing, but it has a long lifespan, which is 10 times longer than that of a cultivator at the same level. As long as they survive, and do not die halfway, the immortal body cultivator will inevitably become an immortal. Lu Xuanji said dumbly, you still have a special physique. This physique is called the immortal body, and it has a long lifespan. The lifespan of an ordinary giant and cultivator is 2000 years, but you can live for 20,000 years. Many Hideo cultivators, unless they become immortals, have a lifespan of less than 50,000 years, but you have a lifespan of 500,000 years. Your long lifespan makes your chance of becoming an immortal very high, higher than many cultivators. Chapter 504, 9-turn Nirvana Technique. There are only two things that cultivators pursue, powerful strength and a long lifespan. You already have a long lifespan, and you need to use it to transform it into a powerful cultivation base. Xuanji said, with envy in his eyes. Most special physiques only increase blood and combat effectiveness, and do not significantly increase the chances of becoming an immortal. However, the immortal body has a terrifying lifespan, and with a long lifespan, the probability of becoming an immortal will increase a lot. Xuanji frowned and said, 100,000 years is too short, we must seize the day. Nowadays, there are constant wars. Even if you have a lifespan of 100,000 years, you may not be able to live for 10 years. There are quite a few Jinden Zenran and Yuanying Zenjin who have fallen recently, who can die of old age. Haha, a long life is still good. Xuanji laughed and said, now I will give you two choices. One is called 9 Heaven Sword Art, which can be cultivated to the realm of transformation. The other is called 9 Turns Nirvana Art, which can be cultivated all the way to become an immortal. Every time you reach a major realm, you must achieve Nirvana once. If you achieve Nirvana 9 times in a row, you can directly become an immortal. What do you choose? Master, I choose the second one. Xuanji said. Okay. Xuanji nodded and said, this is a technique. As he spoke, he pointed his finger and the technique was transmitted. On the road to cultivating immortals, first pursue speed. The speed of cultivation must be fast enough. Secondly, pursue fewer resources, so that you can have stronger combat effectiveness and consume less resources. Finally, pursue a solid foundation and pursue strong combat effectiveness at the same realm. After practicing for 500 years, one becomes a Jinden cultivator with invincible combat power in the same realm and can cross 3 or 5 realms to defeat the enemy. The other becomes a Yuanying cultivator with relatively low combat power in the same realm and can only cross 1 or 2 realms to defeat the enemy. In terms of cost performance, the latter is higher. If the speed is not fast enough and the advancement speed is slow, the so-called invincibility in the same realm is not very meaningful. Because once the cultivation world fights, it is a life and death fight, and the enemy will not give you the opportunity to fight in the same realm, and often bull is the weak. The higher the realm, the higher the probability of survival. If Xuanji is a mortal body or other special physique, Xuanji will ask you to advance quickly and improve your cultivation quickly. As for the foundation, it is enough, and there is no need to be too harsh. But just now, Xuanji discovered that he was actually an immortal body. Giving up the advantages of the physique is not good, but it is a bit bad. The immortal body is very compatible with the 9 Turns Nirvana Sutra. The 9-turn Nirvana art can achieve Nirvana again and again, metamorphosis again and again, and polish the foundation again and again, so that the foundation of the same realm can be extremely solid and invincible in the same realm. At the same time, when breaking through some major realms, you can advance quickly without any auxiliary pills. As for the disadvantage, it takes a very slow time. And your special physique is not short of life, so this set of exercises will be of great benefit to you. As he said, Xuanji began to talk about the key points. This set of exercises came from Jiandao, and it is said to have come from the ancient Xuanwu sacred beast. Because only the Xuanwu sacred beast has a long lifespan and can endure time. As for short-lived species like humans, it is actually not suitable. Xuanji received information and kept analyzing. The 9-turn Nirvana art. After each Nirvana, the cultivation will be deposited in the body, improving the qualifications of the cultivator. After 9 Nirvanas, it will become a top-level physique, and there will be no bottlenecks in each major realm, and no special pills will be needed. There are 2 advantages. One is a solid foundation and invincibility in the same realm. The other is no bottleneck and less resources are spent. As for the disadvantage, it takes a long time. Ordinary cultivators can become immortals in 10,000 to 20,000 years, but cultivating the 9-turn Nirvana art requires a full 200,000 years to become immortals. Everything has a price. If you want to lay a solid foundation and be invincible in the same realm, you must spend a long time constantly polishing your foundation, or spend a lot of resources and various rare spiritual medicines to polish your foundation. The 9-turn Nirvana art is to spend a lot of time to continuously improve the qualifications of cultivators and improve their foundations. Thank you, teacher, Xuanji said gratefully. This is for you, Xuanji said, handing over a gold medal, saying, this gold medal has my 3 magical powers on it. The first magical power can be evolved into a skyfire, killing the enemy on the spot, and its power is comparable to that of the early stage of the nascent soul. The second magical power can be evolved into a diamond shield, which can resist attacks below the 6th level of the nascent soul. The third magical power can be evolved into a golden light that can teleport you thousands of miles away in an instant. This gold medal can be given to you to save your life. In addition, this gold medal can be exchanged for some resources from the Lu family, and the price is 30% off. This is 100,000 spirit stones, which is a gift for meeting. As for future resources, you have to work hard to earn them. At this point, he handed over a gold medal and a storage bag. Xuanji took the token, dripped blood to refine it, and the gold medal immediately entered his danshan, which could be used to save his life at a critical moment. He opened the storage bag and saw that there were more than 100,000 low-grade spirit stones, a 3rd-grade flying sword, a robe, a talisman, and so on. These resources are not much, but very little. But it just happens to suit him. If he is given too much, it will be bad. If one's virtue is not matched with his position, it will bring disaster. Similarly, he is a disciple of Xuanji's engine, but he also needs to work hard and complete certain tasks of the Yi family to get corresponding rewards and certain cultivation resources. If you want to rely on the identity of Zenjin's disciple, it is freeloading, that is, getting something for nothing, which is impossible. Thank you, Master, Xuanji said. I often retreat or fight outside, and rarely stay in the Lu family. If you encounter some difficulties, you can ask Lu Xuanming, Lu Xuanshu and others for help. Lu Xuanji said, as my disciple, you must abide by the rules of the Lu family and the rules of the Danliang sect. You must not kill the human race at will, and you must fight to protect the human race. Then, he said some more rules. Xuanji nodded and agreed. With a wave of Lu Xuanji's hand, Xuanji had already gone outside. Giant and Elder Lu Xiaoshan was already waiting outside, taking Xuanji outside to walk, introducing the rules of the Lu family, collecting certain benefits, and providing corresponding caves, etc. Sitting at the 4th level, Lu Xuanji waited quietly. He watched the cultivators passing the level and being eliminated. Lu Xuanji remained silent. This time, he was recruiting disciples, based on the principle of better to have no one than to have someone of inferior quality. He would rather have 0 than lower his standards. Half a day later, the assessment was over and no one passed. Xuanji also became his only disciple. With a sigh, Lu Xuanji disappeared, and was going to recruit the Lu family's nascent soul. Chapter 505, Heavenly Lord Calls. In the cave, Xuanji had just finished her cultivation. At this moment, she was already at the 4th level of the nascent soul. Xuanji, is it time to go to war again? Xuanji asked, looking a little nervous. Yes, it's time to go to war again. This time, the main purpose is to raid. All 12 nascent soul cultivators of the family will go out to raid the demon clan's territory. They may use decapitation tactics. Lu Xuanji said, this is the order of Dangji Xianzhen. All nascent soul cultivators in the territory of Chu must participate and cannot refuse for any reason. Even if you are in seclusion and are striving for a great realm, you must end your seclusion. Otherwise, you will be purged afterwards. Purging, just 2 simple words, but there are mountains of corpses and seas of blood, and countless cultivators have died. The Lu family is very powerful. There are 12 nascent soul cultivators and more than 300 golden core cultivators in the territory of Chu. As for other low-level cultivators, there are even more. But in front of Dangji Xianzhen, they are just ants. As long as he takes action, it will be easy to destroy the Lu family, and there will be no resistance at all. Got it? Be prepared. After giving instructions for a while, Lu Xuanji went to other caves to wake up the Yuanying cultivators who were in retreat. When they reach the Yuanying realm, most cultivators retreat to comprehend and practice hard. As for those who run businesses, manage shops, or handle other affairs outside, they are mainly Chindan cultivators and Zifu cultivators. As for the Yuanying Zhenjin, he has only one task, which is to practice hard to improve his strength. Cultivation is the root. Up to now, the Lu family has produced 12 Yuanying cultivators, and only one is outside to watch the house to prevent surprise attacks. As for the other 11, they are all in retreat, mainly comprehending and practicing. After the cultivators retreat, their spirits and Qi merge, their souls and Tao merge, and they enter the unity of heaven and man. They don't know how much time has passed. They may be in retreat for 100 years, but in their perception, it is only a moment. About half a day later, many cultivators woke up and returned, adjusted their status, and prepared for the next battle. At this time, Xuanji had broken through the bottleneck and entered the half-step transformation realm. This was a surprise. Congratulations, you have successfully received the Earth Soul and become a half-step god. Xuanji congratulated. Next, receiving the Heaven Soul is a little difficult. With my foundation, I can only be sure of one level. I originally planned to receive the Heaven Soul in one go, but who would have thought that another battle would happen? Xuanji said. Receiving the Heaven Soul is very dangerous, be careful. Xuanji said, feeling uneasy. In the past 100 years, more than 30 Yuanying peaks of the human race have tried to reach the god transformation, but all failed. It can be seen how difficult it is. As if thinking of something, Xuanji took out a gourd and handed it over. What is this? Xuanji was a little careless, but when he opened the gourd, his eyes were blank. He smelled the breath inside and was a little uncertain, but he checked it for a moment and confirmed it again. This is a Yuanshan pill. Yuanshan pill can help cultivators reach the god transformation and can at least increase the probability of 3 levels. The most important point is that, after taking the Yuanshan pill, even if the attack on the god transformation fails, it can save your life. This pill is too precious. Xuanji said. Zia, it's useless to stay with me, so you should take it. Xuanji said. Yuanshan pill, how can it be useless? Xuanji said, accepting the Yuanshan pill, with only a lot of emotion in his heart. After another moment, the 12 Yuanying cultivators of the Lu family gathered together one after another. Xuanji, Xuanji, Yuanyi, Ningzu, Longzuan, Hangfu, Liu Rumeng, Xuanming, Xuanwen, Lu Xian'an, Lu Bei, Xuanming. These are all the current Yuanying cultivators of the Lu family. In addition, Lu Fan, Lu Zian and others have also entered the Yuanying realm, but they left here and went to Wu and Yu to open up other branches of the Lu family and spread some risks. The Lu family was destroyed in Chu, but they could also leave a trace of fire in Wu, Yu and other places. Looking at the Yuanying cultivators present, Xuanji's mood fluctuated. 1,000 years ago, the Lu family was just an inconspicuous small family, but 1,000 years later, it was a Yuanying family. Among the many nascent soul cultivators of the Lu family, Xuanji has the highest cultivation level, having reached the half-step transformation into a god. Secondly, Xuanji is also at the 7th level of the nascent soul, with strong combat power. Yuanyi is only at the 4th level of the nascent soul, Ningzu is at the 3rd level of the nascent soul, and Longzuan is at the 2nd level of the nascent soul. As for the remaining Hangfu, Liu Rumeng and others, they are all at the 1st level of the nascent soul, having just entered the nascent soul realm less than 50 years ago. Among the many nascent soul cultivators, some are familiar, but some are somewhat unfamiliar. Xuanming, Xuanwen and others are relatively familiar, and can be considered his descendants. Lu Xian'an is a natural spiritual root of the Lu family, and can be considered a distant branch of the Lu family. Lu Bei is a special spiritual root of the Lu family, but he is a direct descendant of the Lu family. Xuanming is the son-in-law of the Lu family. He was born as a casual cultivator, and married a woman of the Lu family 500 years ago, joining the Lu family. Looking at the people present, Xuanji said, everyone, let's go. Remember, at the moment of fighting, we must support each other and rely on each other so that we have a better chance of survival in the battle. Patriarch, we understand. Everyone said in unison. Lu Xuanji looked at everyone, but a trace of sadness flashed across his face. The lifespan of a Yuanying cultivator is 2000 years. If you add one calamity, you can live at least 4000 years. However, there have been continuous fierce battles recently, and there are still a few cultivators who can die of old age. After this battle, I don't know how many of the 12 Yuanyings of the Lu family will survive. After the call, everyone disappeared. Go to Danliang sect. After walking for a while, they arrived at Danliang sect, and entered the formation, and arrived at the square in front. In front of the square, there stood 6 cultivators, namely Dongji Xianzhen, Danliang Xianzhen, Life Xianzhen, Haota Xianzhen, Qingdian Xianzhen, Fiayu Xianzhen, etc. The 6 gods stood in front, exuding a terrifying aura. You are here. Dongji Xianzhen said. We are here. Lu Xuanji stepped forward and greeted them. Stand over there. Yes. Lu Xuanji led the Lu family's nascent soul and stood aside. Then, nascent soul cultivators came here one after another. The number increased. About half a day later, there were already more than 500 people. The number is almost there. As for those who haven't come yet, there's no need to wait. Dongji Xianzhen said, Daoist Danliang, how many families haven't come yet? Danliang Xianzhen said, 8 immortal cultivation families, including the Zhao family of Beishu County, the Li family of Xianlin County, the Huling sect, and the Zhu family of Yulong Lake, have not come yet. Since they haven't come yet, there's no need to come later. Dongji Xianzhen said, Daoist Danliang, go and wipe out the family. Yes. Danliang Xianzhen nodded and disappeared. Go and wipe out the family. If you're not ruthless, you can't stand. Since some cultivators are disobedient and can't be commanded, there's no need to command them. Just disappear. The nascent soul cultivators present looked at this scene with shock and inexplicable fear in their hearts. About an hour later, Danliang Xianzhen returned. He didn't say anything, but the evil spirit emanating from his body said it all. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 506 Ancient Cave. Let's go. Dongji Xianzhen took out a flying boat, and everyone entered it. Driving the flying boat, everyone disappeared. When entering the flying boat, everyone in the Lu family entered a cabin. The cabin was less than 50 square meters and only more than 2 meters high, which seemed quite small. But everyone did not do anything, but meditated on their own, preparing for the next battle. Lu Xuanji took out the Kyankan gourd and counted the magic weapons inside. There were 23 magic weapons inside. At this moment, all of them were activated and could burst out at any time to enter the battle. In my plan, I need to refine 33 treasures and turn them into a set of combined magic weapons. This set of magic weapons can attack, assist, control, defend, deduce, heal, restore blood, and increase its own combat power. It's a pity that the computing power of the mobile phone is still a little poor, and it is still insufficient to continue to deduce. Lu Xuanji sighed. Magic weapons, not the more the better. Because too many magic weapons require the consumption of mana and blood essence to warm up, which will slow down the progress of the cultivator to a certain extent. Those combination magic weapons are not simply stacked together to accumulate numbers. The key to combination magic weapons is that there are complementary advantages between magic weapons, and the power is superimposed, so that 1 + 1 = 3. In his calculations, when the 33 magic weapons are completely forged, they are superimposed on each other, and there are incredible changes. But now, when the mobile phone deduces to a certain point, it can't deduce any further. There are 500 Yuanying monks participating in this battle, and I don't know who will survive in the end. Lu Xuanji pondered. It's like in the past life, when big countries rarely go to war with big countries, because it's easy to start a war, but it's difficult to end it. When big countries fight with big countries, it's easy to evolve into a world war, causing huge damage to both sides. Similarly in this world, Yuanying monks and Shenhua monks rarely fight each other, but once they start, it's an extremely tragic battle, which will cause a large number of Yuanying monks to fall, and even Shenhua to fall. The flying boat is moving forward. In a cabin, 6 Shenhua monks gathered together to discuss the attack plan. Daoyao, what should we do next? Daniyang Xianzhen said, for this battle, we mobilized many Yuanying cultivators. If the demons attack, the entire Chu state will fall. Dongji Xianzhen said, we bypassed the front line and attacked the demons in depth because we found an ancient cave in the hinterland of the demons. This cave has many good fortunes. If the demons get it, our Chu state will face a catastrophe. The only way is to take action and advance, snatch this cave, and kill the elite of the demons. Open the map, and a mountain and river topographic map will appear on the map. Point to a location, and tell the target. What is the secret of this cave? King Lian asked. Dongji Xianzhen asked, Daoyao can achieve what you have now. You must have received the inheritance of the predecessors? Am I right? King Lian nodded and said, of course. She was able to get here because of many adventures and good luck. There is the inheritance of Yu Huiman, the inheritance of Fiu Daochen, and some other inheritances. In fact, it's not just her, the other several gods also got some inheritance and some adventures. If the adventures were not big and the luck was not good, it would be impossible to reach this point. Dongji Xianzhen said, if low-level cultivators want to achieve something, they must get various adventures and snatch certain opportunities. Only with enough opportunities can they become golden elixir, yuanying, and even gods. But everything has a price. Every bite and every drink, there is gain and loss. How many adventures, how much luck, how many resources of heaven and earth you get in the early stage, you must repay them in multiples in the later stage. To repay the cause and effect of heaven and earth. Only when the cultivators pay off the cause and effect owed to heaven and earth can they ascend to become immortals. If a cultivator did not repay the cause and effect during his lifetime, his descendants must also repay the cause and effect on behalf of their ancestors. If the descendants do not repay the cause and effect, they will suffer from bad luck and disasters. Some great powers will leave some treasures and relics in the world when they ascend, just to repay the cause and effect of heaven and earth. This ancient cave may be a relic left by an ascended immortal. If we successfully occupy this relic, everything will be worth it. Even if we have to abandon the state of Chu, it's worth it. What if this is fake news from the demon clan, and they want to catch us all in one fell swoop? Daniyang Xianzhen said worriedly. This is my internal information. It's very accurate. There won't be any problems. Dongji Xianzhen said, even if it's a trap, we have to go. According to the internal intelligence of the demon clan, in just 100 years, the demon clan gave birth to 5 powerful gods, and now there are 11 gods in the 10,000 mountains. Not long ago, Kunpeng Yaozan even stepped into the half-step refining void, with the same cultivation as me. The gap between the human race and the demon race is widening, and we can only go all out and gamble. If we delay, the state of Chu will fall, and we will have no place to bury our bodies. Having said that, everyone was silent. The situation was somewhat critical. The demon race was getting stronger and stronger, while the human race was getting more and more embarrassed. In just 100 years, the gap between the human race and the demon race had not narrowed, but widened. The situation was critical, and Dongji Xianzhen made up his mind to do something. It is better to fight early than late. Well, let's fight. Let's fight. We should be thankful that the demon race's gods are wary of each other, which gives us a chance. Yes, we don't have many chances. We need to fight hard. After just a moment's discussion, everyone signed a contract, swore an oath, and decided to give it a try. Whether they succeed or fail, they will have to give it a try. The flying boat was moving forward. When it reached a certain position, the GIF formation surrounding the flying boat started to operate, began to conceal its breath, and began to move towards a certain position. At the same time, Dongji Xianzhen used his secret technique to confuse the heaven secrets. The heaven secrets became blurred, and the future became unpredictable. It was like the originally clear lake water, at this moment, became turbid. At this moment, King Lian asked, this time, when we go out to fight, are we mainly focusing on killing the elite of the monster clan, or are we mainly focusing on occupying that cave? The main purpose is to kill the elite of the monster clan. Xuanji Xianzhen said. The cave left by the predecessors is very particular about fate. If there is fate, the key refining cultivators may be able to get some treasures. If there is no fate, the gods may return empty-handed. The flying boat was moving forward, and after about 3 days of travel, a mountain range appeared in front. There were formations surrounding the mountain range, and there were some demon monks patrolling around. The surroundings were heavily guarded. The flying boat stopped here, and Xuanji Xianzhen invested everyone. Kill. At this moment, Xuanji Xianzhen gave an order, and countless Yuanying's engine flew out, in groups of 3 or 5, and surrounded them. Chapter 507, The Fall of the God. With an order, the Yuanying masters of the human race appeared one after another. They did not attack blindly, but stood in a corner, holding the formation flag in their hands, and their ki and energy were running together. The magic power was infused into the formation flag. Runes rose up one after another, intertwined together, and turned into a huge light film. The 300 Yuanying's engines joined forces to urge the formation flag to evolve into a forbidden formation, cutting off the void and the escape route of the demons. After a while, the forbidden formation slowly formed, like a big boulder the size of 100 miles, blocking the possibility of the demons escaping here, while hiding their own ki. Under such a forbidden formation, even the gods would take a little time to break through. At the same time, it can also block the breath of the battle, and outsiders cannot sense the changes in the battle at all. Swish. At this time, the remaining 200 Yuanying's engines also entered the forbidden formation, scattered from each other, scattered in different corners, and attacked the demons in groups of 3 or 5. After experiencing the initial panic, the demon Yuanying also urged the spell to counterattack, and the two sides quickly started fighting. They fought each other in a fast way. Boom boom boom. Spells bombarded down one after another, and magical powers killed one after another, like the surging waves and the coming of the tide. The battle became simple and brutal. The demon cultivators were caught off guard, and died one after another under the bombardment of countless spells. The remaining demon cultivators wanted to escape when they saw that they were defeated, but they encountered a forbidden formation. The demon cultivators looked at each other and urged their magical powers to attack on them. Flames surged, white light was washed, blood rushed to the sky, sword energy soared to the clouds, etc. But most of the energy was absorbed by the forbidden formation and could not be broken. At this time, the killing moves of the human race strongmen swept across the Tathagata. Accompanied by screams, some Yuanying cultivators were killed on the spot. The battle has lasted less than 10 breaths, but more than 30 Yuanying have been killed, which can be said to be extremely miserable. At this time, a breath of destruction hit and a huge palm slapped. Not good. Lu Xuanji felt something was wrong. He summoned Jinzi, Yuanai and other Lu family Yuanyings to gather together and infuse their magic power into the lonely boat and straw hat picture. Suddenly, the scroll expanded and guarded in front of everyone. But the palm did not attack them, but attacked the forbidden formation. Boom boom boom. The forbidden formation was shaking violently, and huge cracks appeared on it, like broken frosted glass, crumbling, and seemed to be completely broken in an instant. But in the next breath, the formation that was about to break was restored again. 3 figures appeared in the void. They were Kunpeng Yaozhen, Jinwu Yaozhen, Kank Yaozhen, etc. They joined forces and urged their killing moves to bombard the forbidden formation. Xuanji Xianzhen, Shengmeng Xianzhen, Qinglian Xianzhen, etc. rushed into the formation, intercepted and fought together. 6 against 3, fighting together. The terrifying energy was colliding and tearing the void. Every move of the powerful incarnation was extremely powerful. In the battle, the demon race's incarnation was at a disadvantage. They used their magical powers to attack the forbidden formation several times. As long as they could tear the forbidden formation apart, they could escape. But their magic attacks on the formation only shook a few times and returned to normal. A single Yuanying cultivator was killed by the incarnation with a wave of his hand. But when 300 Yuaniing cultivators were combined to form a forbidden formation, even if the incarnation cultivators messed around and broke through the formation, it would take a certain amount of time to tear the formation apart. At this moment, with 6 incarnations of the human race restraining them, the demon race's incarnation had no extra time to tear apart the formation. The battle continued for about an hour. With the bombardment of the magic weapon, the Golden Crow Demon Venerable perished on the spot. It lasted for a while again, and the Peacock Demon Venerable was also killed on the spot. The 6 incarnations of the human race flashed a trace of joy. Many Yuaniing cultivators also flashed a trace of joy. In this battle, as long as the Kunpeng Demon Venerable was killed, it would be a great victory. The situation of Chu will also be reversed with this battle. Boom boom boom. With the bombardment of magic, Kunpeng Yaozan was covered with wounds and his magic power was exhausted. Facing the siege, a trace of despair flashed in his eyes. I hate it. In normal times, even if he was defeated, he could still escape with Kunpeng's extreme speed. But now, trapped in the forbidden formation, he couldn't escape, and continuing the bloody battle would only lead to death. Fight. At this moment, Kunpeng Yaozan activated the secret technique, and his body began to swell, his soul began to swell, and he began to self-destruct under the activation of the secret technique. Not good. At the critical moment, Dongji Xianzhen activated the secret technique, and turned it into a mental attack, about to interrupt the rhythm of its self-destruction. In the end, it failed. Boom boom boom. Kunpeng Yaozan's huge body exploded, like a hydrogen bomb with a 1,000,000-ton equivalent exploding. The light of destruction swept everything, like a golden sun burning in the void. The shock wave of destruction swept around, especially attacking Xian Dongji Xianzhen. At the critical moment, a golden shield appeared in Dongji Xianzhen's palm, and golden runes rose up on it, evolving into a golden light shield to block the front. The shield dissipated most of the force. But under the impact of the remaining force, Dongji Xianzhen still vomited blood on the spot. As for the other powerful gods, they were also hit by the explosion wave. Some were seriously injured, some vomited blood on the spot, and some had half of their bodies blown off. The forbidden formation was torn apart on the spot under the impact of the explosion wave. More than 30 of the 300 Yuaniing cultivators who presided over the formation were killed on the spot and turned into ashes, and 50 Yuaniing bodies were destroyed. Only the Yuaniing was left, which looked like it was seriously injured and could only turn the disaster to go. As for the remaining Yuaniing cultivators, they were also seriously injured. Less than 1/10 of the cultivators were intact. Ha 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 ha. This battle killed 3 demon gods and killed more than 100 demon Yuaniings. Everything is worth it. Dongji Xianzhen laughed. The other injured gods were also smiling, feeling indescribably happy. Up to now, the human race has finally won back a game. As for the injured monks and even the fallen monks on the battlefield, they are just a small matter. In war, there are no immortals. Cough cough. With a cough, Xuanji was also attacked by the shockwave. His body flew backwards on the spot and turned into a broken bag. As for the other monks of the Lu family, they were affected and suffered minor and serious injuries. Xuanji took out the Bushan pill and gave one to everyone and took the next one himself. After refining the Bushan pill, the injuries on his body were healing quickly and his cultivation was slowly improving. At this moment, a ray of light flashed and instantly entered Xuanji's body and his body began to lose control. The sound of the mobile phone rang. Virus invasion. Do you want to turn on antivirus? Right square bracket. Chapter 508 Kinkyu Fox Tribe. Familiar voice, familiar pattern. Turn on antivirus. Xuanji said. The phone was running, and a cool breath began to sweep through the body, and suddenly there was a scream. Who are you? Impossible. My soul is being wiped out. Impossible. The shocked voice of Kunpeng Demon Lord came, which was a little unbelievable. The stronger the person, the more afraid of death. The gangsters will use machetes to fight desperately, but the upper class will not use machetes to fight desperately. At most, they will incite the parliament to let countless lower class people form an army to fight a country and gain benefits. The strong man of the spirit transformation has a lifespan of 5,000 years, and his lifespan is even longer, and he is more afraid of death. Since the revival of spiritual energy, the number of demons who have transformed into gods has increased to 15, but they have not launched an attack on the human race. On the one hand, the demons are constantly fighting among themselves, scheming against each other, and it is difficult to unite, but on the other hand, the demons are afraid of death. Trapped beasts still fight, especially the human race. If the human race is really forced into a desperate situation, it is very likely that the human race's gods will drag 3 or 5 demon race gods to die together with them when they fight to the death. But who would have thought that the human race would launch a surprise attack and bring huge losses to the demon race? At the critical moment, he chose to self-destruct, using the shockwave of the self-destruction to cover up, and a soul escaped and then attached to a human cultivator to control this human cultivator. Who would have thought that a special energy would erode the body of this human cultivator, and then the soul was eroded and gradually dissipated. The figure flashed, and the soul was about to fly out and escape. But Susi was imprisoned in it, and after struggling for a while, he was directly wiped out and fell. As the residual soul of Kunpeng Demon Venerable was wiped out, Xuanji felt a cool breath coming from his soul, as if he was drinking an iced drink, and he felt indescribably comfortable all over his body. The soul absorbed the cool breath, and the essence of the soul was improving and constantly transforming. It gradually entered the 8th level of the nascent soul, the 9th level of the nascent soul, and even half a step into the god of transformation. It was infinitely close to the god of transformation, but it was stuck in a certain realm and difficult to make progress. The size of the soul was increasing and growing. In a short moment, it grew a circle. The remaining soul power was stored in the sea of consciousness. It took a long time to refine it before it could be completely absorbed. Comfortable, Xuanji said in his heart. Sensing that change, his body was trembling slightly, and the comfort continued. The beauty continued. Kunpeng Yaozhen was a powerful god of transformation. Although 9 layers of the soul dissipated in the self-explosion, the remaining layer of soul power still gave people a feeling of being full. At the same time, Kunpeng Yaozhen's memories began to flow out. Xuanji immediately sealed these memories, and sealed them deep in the sea of consciousness. Kunpeng Yaozhen has lived for 4,000 years. The memories in it are so huge and complicated. If he absorbs them all at once, he will lose himself in an instant. Kunpeng Yaozhen's memories take over, and I'm no longer myself. Crash. Crash. At this moment, Xuanji felt blood raining from the sky. The world was wailing, as if crying for the fall of the god of incarnation. The fall of the god of incarnation. The world is crying. The world nurtures all living things, just like a mother nurturing a fetus. There are countless key training monks, foundation building monks, purple mansion monks, and golden elixir monks. For the world, they are just insignificant existences. But once they reach the nascent soul realm, they are favored by the world in the dark. When they reach the god of incarnation realm, they guide the 2 souls of heaven and earth into their bodies, transform them into Yuanshan, and evolve the mystery of creation. For the world, they are like their own sons. The god of incarnation monks are all favored by the world, and favored by luck. When they walk outside, they will more or less encounter some adventures and gain some great opportunities. The death of a divine master is equivalent to the death of a descendant of heaven and earth. Blood rain falls from the sky to mourn for him. Woohoo. The blood rain continues. As the blood rain descends, the aura can no longer be concealed. The incarnations, Yuanying, etc. of the demon race all sense the battle here. The human race came out in full force and swept in. Sensing the death of 3 divine masters of the demon race, about 300 Yuanyings have died. How dare they do this? Good death. Sensing the battle here, some monks are happy, fortunate, gloating, etc. with different expressions. King Q Mountains. With the recovery of spiritual energy, the mountains are changing dramatically. The spiritual energy here has increased tenfold compared to the past. It is lush and green here, with flourishing grass, clusters of spiritual trees, clear springs flowing, and mist rising up, which looks hazy and dreamy, like a fairyland. Deep in the mountains, 2 tables of peaks stand there, located in the center of Kinkyu, exuding a terrifying aura. Many fox demons looked at the mountain with longing in their eyes. On the mountain, there lived 2 powerful gods. Since the recovery of spiritual energy, the ancestors who had traveled abroad returned and showed the majesty of the Kinkyu lineage. Not long after, a genius of the Fox clan broke the shackles and became a powerful god. With 2 gods in the clan, the Kinkyu lineage is famous and its power is growing among the demons. At this moment, the door of the cave opened. Bailinga sensed the breath outside and frowned slightly. Kunpeng demon lord has fallen, the Jinwu demon clan has fallen, and the Peacock demon lord has fallen. Something big is going to happen. Linga, come here quickly. At this moment, a voice came. Bailinga's footsteps flashed and entered the cave. In the middle of the cave, a beautiful woman was sitting upright. She was wearing a tight white gauze outfit, a green fur coat on the outside, and a thin silk skirt inside. Her delicate body exuded a strong fragrance. Her face was extremely beautiful, with willow eyebrows and phoenix eyes. Her eyes were like cold stars, emitting a flashing light. Her snow-white skin was as white as jade, emitting precious light. She had an outstanding figure, and she would be too fat if she was a little fatter, and too thin if she was a little thinner. She seemed to be a masterpiece of God. She was stunning in every frown and smile. She was mature, charming, elegant and beautiful, with a faint body fragrance. There were many stunning beauties in the Kinkyu lineage, and the Kinkyu ancestor was even a top beauty. Ancestor, something big has happened. Bailinga said. Yes, if the human race does not take action, it will be fine. Once it is born, it will shake the world. The Kinkyu ancestor said, I must take action in this battle. As for you, you will sit here. If I die in it, you must protect the Kinkyu lineage. Linga, I understand. Bailinga nodded. The human race is dangerous, but other demon races are also extremely dangerous, said the Kinkyu ancestor, and disappeared after giving instructions for a while. Looking at the direction where the ancestor disappeared, Bailinga looked solemn. In this war, the human race is indeed dangerous, but other demon races are also extremely dangerous. Among the human race, many demon races suffered heavy losses and were divided up afterwards, leading to decline. If the Kinkyu lineage did not have 2 gods sitting in charge to deter other demon races, the Kunpeng clan, the Jinwu clan, etc. would have joined forces to destroy the Kinkyu Fox clan. This is called peace at home, before fighting against foreign enemies. Chapter 509, Golden Crow Clan, Emperor Xian. The human race is different from the demon race. The human race is more united. When a human cultivator dies in a war, he will be given a certain amount of compensation and his family will be given a certain amount of protection. He cannot let the hero bleed and cry. But the demon race is different. The competition within the demon race is more intense and bloody. If it is the same race, it is better, but different races often take ruthless actions, and things like adding insult to injury often happen. As the human race and the demon race fought, many weak demon races were annexed, and some powerful demon races fell. On the contrary, a few demon clans became more and more powerful. There are 15 incarnation cultivators in the 10,000 mountains, including 5 from the Golden Crow clan and 4 from the Kunpeng clan. As for other clans, there is at most 1 incarnation, or even none. The strong are getting stronger, and the weak are getting weaker. This is the demon race. Now watching, a incarnation of the Golden Crow clan fell, and a incarnation of the Kunpeng clan fell, and these 2 clans suffered heavy losses. Seeing this scene, Bailinga was overjoyed. If the opportunity is right, she is willing to go forward and stab the 2 tribes a few times. As for the Peacock clan, the most tragic, there is only 1 incarnation, but he fell in the catastrophe. The former enemies of the Peacock clan will besiege and come, and the Peacock clan will be in trouble. If you are lucky, you can give up the 7th level territory and be trapped in one place to recuperate. If you are unlucky, the Peacock clan may completely decline, fall out of the top 10 royal families, and become some small tribes, or even be exterminated. It's going to be a war again. Bailinga disappeared and prepared some things to prevent the worst situation from happening. Ding ding ding. At this moment, the bell of the Golden Crow clan rang, and the bell rang 9 times in a row. After hearing the bell, the demon cultivators who were originally scattered around gathered on the square, and the formations around them all started to operate. Runes rose up one after another, and the rays of destructive light surged. Many flame runes condensed together and swept thousands of miles. It was like a giant beast waking up from its slumber, exuding a trace of destructive breath. Woo woo woo. In the center of the formation, a huge spiritual tree appeared, 3,000 feet high. The bark on it was ancient, like a mottled tortoise shell. The branches were huge and curved, like dragons dancing, as if they were about to soar into the sky. The leaves were huge like cattail leaves, covered with golden brilliance, shining brightly. The trees were rooted deep in the spiritual veins, absorbing the spiritual fire from the depths of the earth to strengthen themselves. Around the trees, there were golden flames burning, emitting hot and destructive light. If ordinary monks approached, they would have been scorched long ago. But for the Golden Crow clan, it was a supreme holy place. On top of the trees, some nests were built. The nests were simple and luxurious, and there were golden crows lying on them, seemingly sleeping. Gaga gab. At this moment, accompanied by the cry of crows, a golden crow flew out of the nest, landed on the square, and turned into a man in a golden robe. Several more rays of light flashed, and they also landed on the square to show their terrifying majesty. Footsteps were ringing, and demon cultivators gathered one after another. The strong ones gathered, but they also stood respectfully below with solemn expressions. Looking at the four ancestors in front of them, everyone flashed a hint of fanaticism. Emperor Xian stepped forward and said, "Not long ago, the human race attacked and caused the death of an ancestor of our Jinwu clan. If this revenge is not avenged, how can the Jinwu clan survive in the world? The only way is to pay blood debts with blood. Pay blood debts with blood. Kill all the human race. Pay blood debts with blood. Kill all the human race. Pay blood debts with blood. Kill all the human race." Many Jinwu demons roared, and a hint of murderous intent flashed in their eyes. Looking at the fanatical demons, Emperor Xian's eyes flashed with satisfaction. The Jinwu clan was once the royal family of the demon clan. They dominated the Zifu world many times. They were famous in the 9 states and the 4 seas, leaving a great reputation. However, with the rise of the human race and the Jinwu tribe fought many times. The Jinwu tribe killed many human race warriors, and the human race also killed many Jinwu tribe warriors. In the last battle, the human race had the upper hand, and the Jinwu tribe suffered countless casualties, and could only retreat to a limited area. Now that the spiritual energy has revived, and the rules of heaven and earth have changed, the Jinwu tribe has also begun to rise. In the eyes of outsiders, the Jinwu tribe has only produced 5 gods, but who knows that this is just the tip of the iceberg. If it were not for paralyzing some people and buying time to rise, the Jinwu tribe would have swept the world long ago. The Jinwu tribe chose to keep a low profile, but it does not mean that they chose to be aggrieved. They want to use this battle to show the strength of the Jinwu tribe. Everyone, go and get ready. We will set off in a quarter of an hour. Di Xian ordered. Many demon cultivators began to disperse and make preparations for the war, preparing elixirs for healing, spirit stones to restore vitality, some magic weapons to fight against the enemy, some top-level talismans to save their lives, etc. All kinds of trump cards and killer moves were carried on their bodies, ready for a life and death battle, and no mercy. Di Xian also disappeared. His figure flashed, and he returned to the Fu Sanctuary again, saying respectfully, "Ancestor, we are going to attack." "Okay." A cold voice came from the Fu Sanctuary. "Over the years, my Jinwu clan has been too low-key, causing many demon cultivators to listen to orders, but not to orders, and some of them can no longer command certain demons. There are also the 10 great royal families, but they are just monkeys in human form, deceiving themselves. The demon clan does not have the 10 great royal families, but only the 3 great royal families. The current situation is not good, very bad, but we can use this war to clean up some disobedient demons." "Yes," Di Xian said respectfully. The cold voice continued. "Not long ago, an ancient cave was opened in that mountain range. That cave was left by my predecessors from the Jinwu lineage. There are many fortunes in it. I can't go in, but you can. That cave is good for the demon race and bad for the human race. We can use that cave to completely strangle the elite of the human race inside. In the East Desert, there are more than 30 small countries, including Wu, Yu, Chu, Qi, Yan, and Qin. In these areas, the human race occupies 6 layers of territory, and my demon race only occupies 4 layers of territory. The territory is still too little. Destroying Chu is just the beginning of the war. Next we will attack Qi, Yan, etc. Especially Qi, which is an old and powerful country of the human race. There are more strong people and more cultivators in it. My child understands. Dishan said respectfully, the attack of the East China Sea demon race is extremely disadvantageous to us. It's okay. The Dragon Clan was once a branch of my Demon Clan, but later split off and became the East China Sea Dragon Clan. I have already discussed with some of their bigwigs. They only occupy Wu and Yu and will not attack Chu. They have their own plans, so we should not get involved. The cold voice said. Junior understands. Dishan nodded. Go down. Be careful in what you do. The cold voice said. I trust you to do things. Dishan left respectfully and began to deploy troops. Chapter 510 Entering the cave. Dishan left. The fusang tree made a hissing sound, and the golden flame was burning. On the fusang tree, in a nest, a golden crow raised its head, its eyes full of vicissitudes, as if it was thinking of some sad things in the past. The dark golden feathers were like armor, and the golden crow combed its feathers slightly, looking into the distance. With his eyes, he saw that the war 100,000 miles away had come to an end. In that war, the human race suddenly attacked, with more people fighting fewer. 6 gods besieged 3, and also used 300 Yuanying monks to seal the void and cut off the escape route. From the beginning of the battle to the end of the battle, the time was very short. When he found something unusual and woke up from his deep sleep, everything was over. The human race was still as tyrannical as before. If they didn't take action, it would be fine. Once they took action, it would be a thunderbolt. Obviously, those human race strongmen also sensed something, sensed that the situation was not good, and took action in advance, and triggered the war in advance. In such a bloody battle, the human race suffered heavy losses, but it would also bring heavy damage to the demon race. Jinwoo sensed the void again. The void was like paper, peeling off one by one. After tearing through the 18 layers of void barriers in succession, he sensed that a war was breaking out in the void. A huge bone palace emerged, evolving various killing moves. Thunder, fire, ice, divine sword, darkness, light, death, life and other attributes of visions attacked out, and various divine wills evolved. Like rain, killing moves fell out, annihilating everything. On the opposite side, a green dragon emerged, with a handsome and slender body, like a green jade, with exquisite patterns on its scales, and the dragon horns on its head were slender and graceful. It fought between the changes of its body, and every attack caused the void to tremble, evolving into a terrifying killing move. Boom boom boom. Both sides clashed together, and the killing moves were fierce. Fortunately, they fought in the void. If they fought on the ground, the mountains and rivers would collapse in an instant, the Earth's fetal membrane would be severely damaged, and the world would suffer huge losses. As if sensing something, the white bone palace disappeared in a flash, and the azure dragon also disappeared without a trace. The white bone Taoist survived from death, and returned from nirvana. The azure dragon comprehended the creation, and asked about the infinite. Terrible, terrible. Jinwoo sighed, with a flash of excitement in his eyes. He was about to spread his wings and fly into the endless void to fight with him. But when he thought of the current situation of the Jinwoo clan, he sighed slightly. Forget it. Wait until the moment of occupying the East Wilderness, then talk about other things. Jinwoo said, closing his eyes again, and fell into a deep level of enlightenment. Whoosh. As he swallowed and exhaled spiritual energy, the golden flames around him suddenly entered his body and were refined by him. The fusang tree was shaking, resonating with the Jinwoo, absorbing the origin energy emitted by the golden crow. The fusang tree is also gradually growing, and the essence of life is evolving, gradually moving towards the 8th grade. When entering the 8th grade, the fusang tree will also evolve into a semi-immortal tree and become the treasure of the clan. It is difficult for cultivators to practice, but it is also extremely difficult for fusang to advance. If fusang wants to advance, it can only occupy the ancestral veins of the eastern wasteland and absorb the origin of heaven and earth with the help of the power of the ancestral veins to make further progress. This is also the reason why the Golden Crow clan wants to unify the eastern wasteland, and they are willing to pay a huge price for this. A quarter of an hour later, many cultivators of the Golden Crow clan gathered together. Under the call of Emperor Shan, many cultivators entered the warship and disappeared. Not only the Golden Crow clan was dispatched, but also the Kunpen clan, the Xuanwu clan, the Nine-Tailed clan, the Golden Eagle clan, the Killen clan, and other large clans were dispatched one after another, gathering to the battlefield. Because they had to gather and dispatch quickly, the time was very short, and they only had time to summon the nascent soul cultivators. The flying boat was dispatched and quickly went to the battle site. The storm was coming. The war between the human race and the demon race is about to break out. The battle is over. Everyone is cleaning up the battlefield, and the gods are busy counting the battlefield. The dead monks are collecting the bodies of the dead monks. Those who only have the nascent soul stage left are also turning away. The injured monks are recovering and adjusting their states, preparing for a big battle. Xuanji stood up and circulated his breath. His cultivation has recovered a lot. Looking into the distance, there is fog surrounding 10 miles away. The divine mind penetrates into it, but it feels blurry. When he urges his eyes to look, he sees a huge cave. On the walls of the cave, there are ancient and mottled, carved with ancient beasts, ferocious and huge, rough and violent. There is a bronze gate in front, 10 feet high and 1 foot wide, with 6 strange symbols on it, and I don't know what their meaning is. The area of this cave is only 10 square kilometers, which looks very small. Xuanji shines and urged the magic, and his palm suddenly became larger and larger, and he came to capture the cave. Grabbing the cave with his palm, there was a continuous crackling sound. After a while, Xuanji shines and dispersed his magic power, and showed a helpless expression. Life shines and urged his magic power, and the magic power penetrated into it, trying to refine the cave, but failed in the end. Daniyang shines and urged the divine fire, and the flames burned away, violent and manic, but finally gave up. Other gods took action one after another, and finally gave up helplessly. At this time, King Lian came. Xuanji, this cave is connected to the underground spiritual vein. If you forcibly take the cave, it is equivalent to fighting against this piece of heaven and earth. Without the cultivation of Liangsu, it is impossible to take it. King Lian said, since it can't be taken, we plan to enter this cave and compete for some opportunities. Be careful. Xuanji said. Are you going in? This cave may be left by an immortal. There are some supreme treasures and many fortunes in it. King Lian said, if you follow the steps, it may take you 500 years to enter the god transformation, but if you get a chance, it will shorten the time. Okay, I'll go and tell some people in the Lu family. Xuanji said. Under the call, many cultivators of the Lu family gathered together. Looking at everyone, Xuanji said, I plan to enter this ancient cave to find some opportunities. What do you plan to do? That cave is very dangerous. Only the god transformation and top level nascent soul cultivators can get opportunities. As for ordinary nascent soul cultivators, they may die in it. Jinxie said, I'm already a half-step god transformation. Next, I will consolidate my foundation and enter the god transformation. As for opportunities, forget it. With the Yuan Shen pill, she has a high probability of entering the god transformation. As for other opportunities, they are not important. Yuanai said, the Lu family can't do without me. Ningzu said, I'm too weak. I plan to stay in seclusion for a while. Master, I plan to enter. Hangfu said. Lu Zuanming said, Patriarch, my aptitude is a little bit worse. If there is no great opportunity, the probability of becoming a god is almost zero. I also want to give it a try. Chapter 511, Fight for the Golden Crow Order. Some people planned to enter, and some planned to leave. Finally, Lu Xuanji, Lu Zuanming, and Han Fu planned to enter the cave. As for the others, they left and returned home. The Lu family was discussing, and the cultivators of other families and sects were also discussing. About 100 Yuanian cultivators planned to enter the cave. The remaining 300 Yuanian cultivators boarded the flying boat and left, returning to Chu to suppress the situation. Because of this battle, Chu was empty inside, and the Yuanian cultivators who left had to return home quickly, sit in the family, sit in the mountain, and guard against the monster clan's sneak attack. Looking at the people leaving, Lu Xuanji exhorted, Hangfu, Xuanming, you have to be careful. Master, I understand. Patriarch, I understand. The two said in unison. Wait a minute, let's try to gather together and don't separate. Lu Xuanji exhorted. Boom boom boom. At this moment, accompanied by a violent noise, the 6 great gods joined forces and bombarded the bronze gate, trying to break the cave violently. With the 6 gods joining forces, the stalemate lasted only a moment before the gate was blasted open. Dongji Xianzhen took the lead and entered first. Other gods also entered later. Then, Yuanying's engine also entered. Lu Xuanji's footsteps flashed, and a golden light flashed, and he entered the cave. After everyone disappeared for a moment, the demon army also arrived, looking at the cave with different expressions. Emperor Xian said, all human beings have entered the cave to rob the relics of their predecessors. Gods and half-step gods can enter the cave to compete for opportunities. As for the cultivators below half-step gods, it is better not to enter. This is for your good. At the same time, send orders to all tribes to attack the state of Chu and start a decisive battle against the human race. Yes. The other clan leaders nodded. Some clan leaders were dissatisfied, but they could only agree. At the same time, the demons also quickly separated. Some top masters entered the cave, most of the Yuanying masters left, and began to attack the state of Chu. After fighting for a long time, the duel between the human race and the demon race should also end. The decisive battle began. The void was changing. When Lu Xuanji stepped into the cave, he felt a blackness in front of his eyes, followed by a feeling of weightlessness. After just 3 moments, everything returned to light. He just looked for his clothes once again, but he couldn't find them anymore. Hangfu, Lu Xuanming and others all disappeared, separated from each other, and could not contact each other. Lu Xuanji stood here, looking around cautiously, but frowned slightly, feeling a sense of oppression. The void was filled with a huge demonic energy, omnipresent and pervasive. Sensing the demonic energy, Lu Xuanji activated the secret technique to close the pores and acupoints, forming a leak-proof body to prevent the body from absorbing the demonic energy. The vitality of heaven and earth is divided into different attribute categories, such as spiritual energy, demonic energy, evil energy, pure yang energy, etc. Spiritual energy is flat and gentle, suitable for human cultivators. Demonic energy is negative and cold, suitable for demon cultivators. Demonic energy is weird and evil, suitable for demon cultivators. There is demonic energy everywhere. If a human cultivator absorbs demonic energy, they will become demonized. The conflict of energy will easily lead to infatuation. But Lu Xuanji activated his magic power and immediately felt a sense of oppression in the void. This place suppresses human cultivators and is extremely unfriendly to them. Here, a human cultivator can only exert the 7th level of combat power of the 10th level. This cave was opened up by a powerful demon cultivator. It is extremely unfriendly to human cultivators, but it has a bonus effect on the combat power of demon cultivators. Lu Xuanji frowned slightly. Chaos map, escape map, chaos heaven secret. 2 scrolls unfolded in his body, one to confuse his own energy, and the other to change his own energy. Suddenly, Lu Xuanji's energy was changing, and turned into the breath of the demon race, and most of the suppression of the cave dissipated. He activated the Tunshending again, absorbing demonic energy like a black hole. The demonic energy was transformed into spiritual energy, and supplied to his body for absorption, and he felt comfortable. His footsteps flashed, and he walked into the depths of the cave. Just after moving forward for a while, he found a demon cultivator. This was a great demon of the Jinwu clan, with the 9th level of the nascent soul cultivation, wearing a golden outer robe. When he saw Lu Xuanji, he immediately sneered and said, "Human slave, go to hell." A large bell appeared above his head, and the sound of the bell rang, turning into a sonic killing force. He held a golden longsword in his hand, and as the longsword danced, it turned into a golden flame and chopped down. "Kill!" Lu Xuanji shouted, urging the 24 treasures to blast out, including the Kyankan Gourd, Chaos Map, God-Killing Hammer, Optimus Prime Shadowless Sword, Immortal Shield, Dingshan Mirror, Dongshan Eye, Tangshan Bridge, Zanshan Axe, Fengshan Talisman, Xuanshan Ladder, Escape 1 Map, Year's Clock, All Wonders Gate, Dongshan Divine Spear, Xuanji Ball, Avoiding Heaven Coffin, Awakening Bell. Chaos Thunder Talisman, Book of the Earth, Bu Shanding, Swallowing Shanding, Zhu Shanjia, etc. The 24 magic weapons gathered together and turned into a torrent of magic weapons to blast out. The Golden Crow Demon urged his longsword to slash and kill, but one after another, like a tide, swept in. On the basis of the previous ones, the power of the magic weapons behind was superimposed, one more powerful than the other. No. The Golden Crow Demon shouted, but was directly killed by the torrent of magic weapons. His body was destroyed, and his Yuanying was shattered and died. Only the mess on the ground showed the cruelty of the battle. The ordinary cultivators of the 9th level of the Yuanying were no match for him, and could be easily killed. Search the soul. The residual soul of the Golden Crow Demon appeared on Lu Xuanji's palm, and he began to search its soul. Suddenly, a series of memories appeared. These were just fragments of memories, less than 1/10 of them. The memories in the residual soul showed that this was a cave left by a great man of the Golden Crow clan. There were many treasures, but also many dangers, but it was very unfriendly to the human race. Harvest the spoils and find the storage bag. After opening the storage bag, it was empty, with only a few pills, a few hundred high-grade spirit stones, and a few spiritual treasures. The family inside was extremely poor. Most of the nascent soul cultivators were poor. In the eyes of low-level cultivators, nascent soul cultivators were high up and must be very rich. But all this was just an illusion. Although nascent soul cultivators had a lot of income, they also spent a lot of money. The pills needed for cultivation, the materials needed to upgrade weapons, and the cultivation of spiritual medicines, spiritual mines, and spiritual veins all cost a lot of money, which also led to many nascent soul cultivators being very poor. Especially those who had just broken through a great realm, or entered a certain late stage of a great realm were extremely poor. At this moment, golden mist rose up from all around, surrounded by the mist, and spread in the cave, and the vision was immediately blocked. The vision could only see a distance of 100 meters, and could not see farther. He urged his divine thoughts again, and could only see 100 meters around. Lu Xuanji turned on his phone, and opened Baidu Maps to check carefully, but it was blurry and unclear. In the golden mist, there were many murderous intentions. At this moment, a voice sounded. Youngsters, grab the Golden Crow token and you will have a chance to pick treasures from the Fu Sanctuary. There are only 12 Golden Crow tokens. It depends on your luck. As the voice fell, tokens appeared one by one and then disappeared. Chapter 512, Fierce Fight. Just a moment later, 12 Golden Crow orders fell into the hands of some cultivators. Haha. I got the Golden Crow order. I got it. As the Golden Crow order fell, Lu Xuanji's divine sense immediately reached the void to determine the location of the Golden Crow order. In the golden mist, the sight and divine sense were blocked, but the 12 Golden Crow orders were as bright as a lighthouse at night, and could be clearly sensed. This encouraged the cultivators to fight and use the method of raising goo to fight out the strong. Go. Lu Xuanji's footsteps flashed, and he quickly walked towards the direction of the nearest Golden Crow order. Just a moment later, he arrived at the place of battle. I saw a big demon holding a golden token in his left hand. The token was about 1 foot high, with a golden crow pattern engraved on it, exuding a powerful aura. Holding a long sword in his right hand, the sword light flashed, and he chopped into the void, and the sharp sword energy swept over. At this moment, he was trapped in a siege, and the siege was made by several powerful demons, with sharp killing moves and no mercy. Normally, the demon clan masters could still live in peace and save face. But with the appearance of the Golden Crow token, the fragile balance was immediately broken. The demon clan masters began to attack and kill the demon clan masters, and they were ruthless, showing no mercy at all, because they were all demon clan members. Boom boom boom. The void was exploding, the flames of destruction were impacting, the sword energy was surging, the frost was freezing everything, and all kinds of energy collided quickly. The cave was quite solid, and many strong men fought together, but there was no trace of damage. In the confrontation, 3 great demons soon died on the spot. The other great demons also urged their killing moves to fight together. At this moment, the 9-color sword light flashed, slashing into the void, and the extinction breath tore everything apart. The great demon was killed on the spot. Another torrent of magic weapons rushed in, roaring continuously, exploding continuously, and 3 more great demons were killed. Swish. The golden crow token flashed and fell on Xuanji's palm. Kill him. Kill this human slave. Kill this human slave. The 5 Yuaning's engines used their killing moves to attack and stood in different corners, blocking Xuanji's retreat. Their magic and supernatural powers attacked. Xuanji used the 9-colored divine sword to attack. The blade light was like snow, fast and fierce. Another 24 magic weapons were flying, evolving into various supernatural killing moves, attacking. At the same time, the Ant King divine form, Flea divine form, Dragonfly divine form, Pure Yang true fire, Pure Yang immortal divine ring, etc. All kinds of supernatural powers were displayed. The divine form moved quickly, and the killing moves were quickly attacked. The moves became simple and direct. After 3 moves of fighting, the blade flashed and killed a big demon on the spot. After 5 moves, the Pure Yang true fire burned another big demon to death. After 10 moves, the Ant King divine form burst out and killed a Yuaning big demon on the spot. The remaining 2 big demons saw that they were defeated and fled separately. Xuanji activated the 9 transformations of fish and dragon and instantly evolved into a clone. The original body chased after one, and the clone chased after another. In an instant, the 2 nascent soul monsters were all killed. Kai. At this moment, the Golden Crow Order was like a vampire, absorbing the soul and blood of the fallen monk. There were traces of blood on the golden token, and the number 13 appeared on it. Holding the Golden Crow Order, Xuanji began to refine it. In an instant, some information came from the Golden Crow Order. Only with the Golden Crow Order in hand can you climb up the Fusang tree and pick some treasures on it. If you don't have the Golden Crow Order, even if you have a high level of cultivation, it is difficult to climb up the Fusang tree. The Golden Crow Order is more like a certificate. This is the first benefit. After refining the Golden Crow Order, you can detect the enemy in advance by relying on the Golden Crow Order's perception of the state of 1,000 miles, but some enemies are trapped in the fog, and the information is lagging behind. This is the second benefit. The Golden Crow Order has many advantages, but the disadvantage is that, after refining the Golden Crow Order, the aura will spread all around, and be sensed by some cultivators. Soon, you will be surrounded by the siege of the heroes. Killing 1 person is a thief, killing 10 people is a bandit, killing 100 people is a thief, killing 1,000 people is a hero, killing 10,000 people is a king, and killing 1,000,000 people is an emperor. The Golden Crow Order encourages killing more cultivators, and the more rewards you get, the more benefits you will get. The Golden Crow Order will absorb the blood, spirit, and soul of the cultivators. Only by killing 100 Yuaning, or killing 10 half-step transformation gods, or 1 transformation god, can you climb the Fusang tree. If you don't kill enough cultivators, you will not be qualified to climb the Fusang tree, even if you have the Golden Crow Order. But the problem is that there are only more than 400 Yuaning cultivators who enter, and many times, there are not enough places. Under these rules, other cultivators must hunt each other to meet the needs of the Golden Crow Order. Cultivate some top Xuanji in a cruel breeding mode. Xuanji looked at the Golden Crow token. The number 13 on it represented that 13 nascent soul cultivators had died in the fight for this token. Someone is approaching. Xuanji sensed. In the 4 directions of east, west, south, and north, there were nascent soul masters approaching, with a number of more than 50 people, including demon cultivators and human cultivators. As for those human cultivators, they were also enemies. Xuanji didn't think that he would show mercy just because they were also human. When 50 nascent soul cultivators joined forces, he also felt his scalp tingling, and he might be killed on the spot. Even if there were many ants, they could still bite an elephant to death, not to mention nascent soul cultivators. Most of the nascent soul cultivators who entered the cave were mainly in the late nascent soul stage, and very few cultivators who were too weak came in. Xuanji estimated that with his current combat power, he could easily kill a nascent soul 9th level cultivator. If he met 2, he would win with difficulty. If he met 3, he would be in danger, and if he met 4, he would have to run away. If these 50 nascent soul cultivators joined forces, he would have no suspense at all. Fortunately, these nascent soul cultivators had their own thoughts, and it was impossible for them to unite against the enemy. What he needed to do was to defeat them one by one. 9 changes of fish and dragon. Xuanji urged his divine thoughts, and suddenly 9 clones appeared in the void. One clone took the Golden Crow order and broke through to the west, while the other 8 cultivators fished in the dark. Boom boom boom. In just a moment, the two sides clashed with each other. There were cultivators falling all the time. Nascent soul cultivators were supreme in the outside world, but here they were like rubble, and were easily killed. At the same time, the clones also attacked and killed the enemy, and the battle was extremely tragic. Some clones were killed on the spot during the battle. The Golden Crow order kept changing its owner, sometimes falling into this hand, sometimes falling into that hand, but no cultivator could last too long. The cultivators holding the Golden Crow order were all besieged and died. The numbers on the Golden Crow order are also increasing. The number of monks fighting at the levels of 25, 30, 35, and 40 is also decreasing, but the remaining ones are all very powerful. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 513, Fighting with Master Wang Xing. The bloody battle continued, and only 5 were left. The 5 monks were all strong in combat, and had outstanding ability to save their lives, but even so, they were all seriously injured, panting, and their mana was exhausted. The originally fiery fight was now a little more fearful. Recalling the fight just now, it seemed like a demon. I will withdraw, and you can take the Golden Crow order, a demon cultivator said, and his figure flashed, and he was about to withdraw. But at this moment, the 4 monks looked at each other, and seemed to attack in an instant. The flames were boiling, condensing into a golden crow to attack. The sword energy condensed, and turned into a destructive sword energy, which attacked and killed. The ice froze, and the void condensed. The water waves rippled and swept over. In an instant, the monk who was planning to evacuate was trapped in the siege. Various magical powers and secret techniques instantly overwhelmed him. The monk was also extremely brave, urging his mana to evolve into a blue dragon and constantly hit, fierce and messy. But he didn't hold on for long. 2 fists could not defeat 4 hands. The hero couldn't stand the crowd. His body was blown up, and he died on the spot. The 4 monks looked at each other again, and each found an opponent, and fought against each other. After a fierce fight, 2 more monks fell. The remaining 2 monks fought again, and another one fell. Only 1 monk was standing. At this time, an invisible sword appeared and pierced his Yuanying. The standing monk fell on the spot, and the Golden Crow token changed hands again. Holding the Golden Crow token, Xuanji looked at the number on it, which changed to 72. There are still some gaps. There are not enough Yuanying monks nearby. Xuanji thought, we have to take the initiative to attack. There were less than 500 Yuanying monks who entered the cave, scattered around the cave, which seemed quite empty. The killing just now swept away all the Yuanying monks within 1,000 miles. In a short time, no monks would approach. This is a good thing, but also a bad thing. If there are not enough monks approaching, he will take the initiative to attack, and clean up everything. With flashing footsteps, he headed west. There were few monks there, so they were suitable prey. A moment later, a Yuanying monk appeared, urging his flying sword to stab him. Xuanji waved his hand and slapped it out. 5 colored light flashed on his palm, evolving into the 5-element Yuanyiki Great Capture, and slapped it down on the spot. Boom boom boom. With a violent sound, a Yuanying monk was killed on the spot. A moment later, he encountered another Yuanying monk and killed him. In this way, the long and boring hunt began. If he encountered a single Yuanying monk, he would kill him on the spot. If he encountered less than 5 Yuanying monks, he would also step forward to kill them. But if he encountered more than 5 Yuanying monks, he would choose to evacuate. He urged the golden light to fly across the ground, and the speed was extremely fast. Just a few flashes were enough to avoid the strong enemy. The hunt continued, and the number on the Golden Crow order was increasing. When the number increased to 80, he wandered around for a while, but he couldn't find any single nascent soul cultivators. As for the groups of nascent soul cultivators, he couldn't bite them. At this moment, Xuanji suddenly sensed something. A cultivator appeared 100 miles ahead, with a strong aura, and he was a half step into the god. The half step into the god was approaching step by step. Soon the two met. The cultivator opposite was an old acquaintance. It was the true Lord Wangxing. This true lord was already a half step into the god, and his aura was as strong as a mountain. Dao, hand over the token and I will spare your life, said the true Lord Wangxing. Dao, lie to others. Xuanji said. Kill. The true Lord Wangxing shouted, and chopped down with his long sword. Kill. The 9-colored divine sword flashed, and Xuanji also drew his sword to kill. With a violent noise, sparks were flying, and the two clashed for the first time. Blood and fire clashed, life and death collided. The great opportunity was at hand, and they would not show mercy, just because they were both human. The two of them attacked fiercely, with only one purpose, to kill each other. Xuanji urged the long sword, which rolled up and down, like the surging waves, like the tides, the rise and fall of the tides, and evolved all kinds of killing moves. Master Wangxing also flashed his long sword, and the changes of the long sword seemed like the stars flashing, and there was a great force in the shifting of the stars. In the blink of an eye, the battle was fought for more than 30 moves. Master Wangxing frowned slightly, feeling that it was difficult. Master Xuanji was only at the 7th level of Yuanying, but his magic power and aura were as strong as those of a half step into the spirit. His sword skills were fierce, his moves were ruthless, and his control of the vitality of heaven and earth was even more superb than that of a Taoist. Every change in each move was close to Taoism. Such a powerful enemy should not be underestimated. First strike, the stars fall. Master Wangxing stepped forward and activated the long sword. Suddenly, strange phenomena surged on the long sword, as if the stars were rising and shining in the void. But then, the stars fell one after another, turning into light and shadows that gathered on the long sword. The energy on the long sword was changing and rising violently. Carrying the power of the stars, it chopped down in the air. Pure Yang slash. Xuanji activated the Pure Yang Dao body, and suddenly his body emitted a white light, as if the sun was rising. The pure yang energy surrounded his body like a burning flame. At the moment, when the pure yang energy condensed and burned to the extreme, it condensed on the long sword, and chopped down on the spot. The two sides collided with each other, and various strange phenomena clashed together. The stars collided with the sun, and the strange phenomena annihilated each other, and melted into each other. After 3 breaths, everything disappeared. The second knife, Shapiol. Master One Crossing stepped forward again. His whole body's ki was surging, and his mana surged like a tide, all converging on the long knife. Just this knife consumed 3 layers of his own mana. Above his head, a strange phenomenon rose up. The 3 disaster stars, Kisha Star, Tanlang Star, and Piojun Star, gathered together and evolved into many disasters above his head. The disaster stars gathered together, and evolved into endless disasters descending. This knife was a disaster knife. Yuanzi Heaven Knife. The long knife in Xuanji's hand changed, and the endless Yuan magnetic force gathered together, and turned into the Yuan magnetic knife. The Yuan magnetic force gathered together, resonating with the earth and the void, and evolved into the knife of heaven and earth. Boom boom boom. The two sides collided again. When the knife light dissipated, Xuanji did not move, but Master One Crossing took 3 steps back, and the remaining knife energy impacted his body, sending waves of pain. In the confrontation, he was slightly defeated. Chapter 514 Climbing the Fusang Tree. The third knife, Move the Stars. Master Wangxing urged the long knife, infusing the remaining mana in his body into it. Under this knife, the light was completely converged. There was no shocking vision, no violent fluctuation of vitality, no terrifying breath pressure, but just an ordinary knife. It was like a mortal swinging a long knife. This was a knife that returned to the original, and this was the peak of his life. Liangai knife, cut. The long knife in Xuanji's palm changed again, turning into black and white, and turned into a black and white long knife. It was like 2 planets collided with each other, and the violent collision made a buzzing sound. Lu Xuanji remained motionless and was not seriously injured. But Master Wang Xing retreated continuously, spitting out a mouthful of blood. The internal organs in his body were violently impacted and began to bleed extensively. His ears were also buzzing, he lost his hearing, and his arms were numb. The long knife fell to the ground. Plop. Finally, Master Wang Xing sat on the ground. His mana was exhausted. At this moment, he was exhausted. At this moment, Lu Xuanji took a step forward and slashed with his long sword again. Master Wang Xing was about to activate his magic power, transform it into a secret technique, and flee, but he was exhausted. He was about to activate his long sword to counterattack, but his magic power was exhausted, and he was unable to slash and kill. Wait, spare my life. Master Wang Xing begged for mercy. When he said these two words, he was also in a trance. He thought he would rather die than surrender, but when he really faced death, he was still afraid. It turned out that his heart was so fragile, not as strong as he imagined. Spare my life. Lu Xuanji said coldly, give me a reason. Master Wang Xing was about to say that I'm the son of the god of transformation and my father is the lord of life, but this is a threat. He also wanted to say that we are both human yin and yang, and we should rely on each other and work together, but he felt that the greater good was suppressing others. After thinking for a moment, he said, I have a magic pill here, which can help cultivators increase their magic power by 100 Jiazi after taking it. As he said that, he threw the storage bag over. Okay. Lu Xuanji took the storage bag and disappeared. Ahem. Looking at the disappearing figure, Master Wang Xing stood up, flashing anger, annoyance, hatred, and finally turned into despair. The humiliation just now can be said to be extremely angry. He wanted to step forward and tear Lu Xuanji off directly, but after the anger, he was helpless. The identity of the son of the god can scare most cultivators, but not Lu Xuanji. Lu Xuanji also has a backstage and is taken care of by King Yan Xianzhen. His identity and background are nothing. Even if he tells his father is too lazy to pay attention. Besides, does he dare to tell his father? Dare not. It's too late to hide such a shameful thing. How can he humiliate himself and confide in his father? He can't do anything to Lu Xuanji. Lu Xuanji went forward to the location of the Fusang tree. Up to now, most of those who were unlucky and weak died on the way. After walking for half an hour, a huge hibiscus tree appeared in front of him, hundreds of miles high. The golden branches were huge, stretching for several miles, and the golden leaves were as huge as a playground. Many branches and leaves were stacked together to form a huge umbrella cover of hundreds of miles. The leaves were shaking, showing a terrifying majesty. The golden leaves were shaking, emitting hot flames, burning everything. On the branches, there were small boxes hanging, like stars dotted in it. Looking at the hibiscus tree from a distance, Lu Xuanji felt a sense of oppression, like an ant standing in front of a giant. 8th grade spiritual tree, half immortal level. Lu Xuanji's mind was trembling. The hibiscus tree is the companion spiritual root of the golden crow lineage. After many golden crows are born, they will cultivate a hibiscus tree to accompany their own growth. The initial hibiscus tree is only the 1st grade, but as the golden crow spares no effort to cultivate it, the grade will continue to improve. The Fusang tree in front of him was already an 8th grade spiritual tree. To cultivate such a spiritual tree, one must at least be a demon integrated Dao level golden crow, or even a tribulation crossing golden crow. The treasure chests hanging on the Fusang tree were the gifts left by the golden crow. Among the Dongxianzu, the tree of time is also an 8th grade tree, but why doesn't it have such a great power? Lu Xuanji was a little puzzled, but his steps were not slow at all, and he kept approaching the Fusang tree. Just as he approached the Fusang tree, he saw many monks fighting under the Fusang tree. Some monks tried to climb the Fusang tree, but were pushed down by a strong force. The void flashed, and a man in black appeared, with demonic energy flashing on his body. He held a long sword in his hand, and stabbed down at an extremely fast speed, like the stars in the night sky. Kill. Lu Xuanji's steps flashed, and he urged the 9-colored divine sword to chop down, with a fierce and brutal speed. Bang. The two sides clashed for the first time. Human slave, leave the token. The man in black sneered. Reptile, Grandpa will send you back to the abyss. Lu Xuanji said indifferently, and slashed out with his long sword. Night. The man in black activated his magical power, and the void suddenly changed. The day turned into night. Under the cover of darkness, the six senses were deprived. Suddenly, Lu Xuanji felt blind deaf, skin perception disappeared, sense of smell failed, and all kinds of perception disappeared, falling into endless darkness. Under such a night, it gives people endless despair. This is the magical power of the Black Dragon lineage. It is extremely powerful, but unfortunately, it is still a little bit worse. Lu Xuanji said indifferently, urging the long sword to slash out along the perception. The night disappeared. The long sword made a puffing sound and slashed on the black-clothed man's body. One knife cut it in two. The black-clothed man's eyes flashed with astonishment. He was killed on the spot. The body was changing from a human form to a black dragon with a huge body of about dozens of meters. The nascent soul flew out and fled. The long sword slashed down, and the pure yang fire burned everything. No. Under the endless flames, the black dragon's nascent soul was burned and destroyed. Too weak. Lu Xuanji's footsteps flashed, swung the long sword, and slashed at another nascent soul cultivator, entering the melee. The long sword was flashing, and Xuanji was fighting. To win the battle, he tested his strength, and verified his shortcomings. There were cultivators falling one after another. Wherever he went, he was invincible. The cultivators around him seemed to show fear, and dodge one after another, including some half-step into the spirit. But, at this moment, the golden crow token changed, and the number changed, turning into 100. The golden crow token turned into a ray of light that wrapped him and disappeared. The next moment, when Lu Xuanji opened his eyes, he was already on the Fusang tree. A treasure chest appeared in front of him. With the golden crow token in his hand, he could use it to open the treasure chest and obtain the treasures inside. Chapter 515, Heavenly Destiny Immortal Gold, Revenge for the Sun's Murder. The treasure chest was golden yellow with a golden crow pattern on it. There was a golden seal on the treasure chest. The seal was very strong. Lu Xuanji waved his hand and attacked it several times, but it was difficult to open. After taking out the golden crow order, it turned into a golden light and merged into the treasure chest, and the treasure chest made a crisp sound. Click. After a moment, the treasure chest opened. Inside the treasure chest, there was a piece of white gold, about half a cubic meter. The white metal flashed with light, brilliant and bright, with a faint fairy air leaking out. Heavenly Fate Fairy Gold. Looking at the white metal, Lu Xuanji's eyes flashed with excitement. Heavenly Fate Fairy Gold is the top fairy gold that can be forged into fairy weapons. Of course, Lu Xuanji's cultivation is limited at the moment, and even if he obtains Heavenly Fate Fairy Gold, he cannot forge a fairy weapon, but it can replace many materials and improve the grade of magic weapons. The forging and upgrading of magic weapons is very difficult, and the materials required also need to be continuously upgraded and replaced with more advanced materials. But with the existence of the Heavenly Fate Immortal Gold, he didn't need to bother looking for various materials, and could refine it to the realm of immortal tools. Swish. The next moment, Lu Xuanji stretched out his hand and grabbed it. It felt like grabbing a mountain, slightly heavy. He took a deep breath, grabbed it and threw it into the cave bead. But, at this moment, the golden crow token fell on his palm again, and a terrifying force came from the token. It turned into a teleportation force, and the next moment, Lu Xuanji disappeared. On the other side of the Fusang tree, a golden crow demon opened the box and saw a golden fruit inside. There were red runes on it, and golden flames were burning. This is the sun fruit, the golden crow demon said happily, and then was teleported out. In other places, there were also cultivators who obtained treasures and could be teleported out. When he opened his eyes again, he was already in the outside world. At this time, he had already left the Golden Crow Cave Mansion. In the Golden Crow Cave Mansion, obtaining half a cubic meter of Heavenly Fate Immortal Gold was also a huge gain. Lu Xuanji looked around. He was teleported to the sea. The surroundings were rippling with blue waves, the sea was undulating, and there were birds flying in the sky. He looked around, and could not see an island. He opened the 100 maps to determine his location. However, he found that he had left the East Wasteland and was teleported to the Storm Sea at will. In the Purple Mansion realm, the terrain of this realm was written on it, with 5 seas and 7 states. The 5 seas are the Storm Sea, the Chaos Sea, the Absolute Abyss Sea, the Death Sea, and the Arctic Sea. The 7 states are Yuanzhao, Zhuzhao, Manzhao, Huangzhao, Yaozhao, Changzhao, and Bihanzhao. The East Wasteland where Chu State was located was a small country on Yuanzhao. At this moment, his location was a long way from Chu State. If he flew in the air, it would take 3,000 years to fly without sleep to return to Chu State. If I want to return to Chu, I can only use the teleportation array. Xuanji thought, if I use the teleportation array, I can return to Chu in 10 years at most. But the Jinwu Cave Mansion teleports too far. It teleports me directly to the Storm Sea. It's too far. Thinking back to everything, Xuanji felt a deep malice. With flashing steps, Xuanji flew in the air and was about to move forward to a certain location. Walking on the sea, flying for 10 consecutive days, it was still a vast sea, with a few islands and reefs occasionally. Flying continuously, I also encountered some sea monsters, but most of them were not at a high level. Some were only Chindan, and most were purple mansions. Suddenly, Xuanji felt a breath coming from the front, and he couldn't help but be on guard. The shadow was getting closer and closer. This was a human cultivator, with a breath as strong as the sea, exuding a trace of destructive breath. Looking carefully at his face, he felt familiar. It was Houta Xianzhen. Greetings, Xianzhen, Xuanji said with a bow, but his vigilance was increasing. It turned out to be Master Xuanji. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable said, we are old friends in a foreign land, and we have a deep friendship. As a senior, I should enlighten you. But did you kill my son Master Shenfeng? Yes, Xuanji said helplessly. At the beginning, he was the first to attack. In that incident, it was Master Shenfeng who took the initiative to attack him, wanting to kill him and seize the treasure, but he was killed in return. In this incident, he was in the right. He was just talking halfway when he saw the cold expression of Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable. His mana was surging, and he waved his hand and hit out a palm. The mana condensed in the void, quickly grew larger, and turned into a huge palm, descending from the sky to sweep everything and slapping down. The palm evolved like a huge mountain. As the palm changed, the power of Thick Earth condensed, and the void made a slight sound. There were bursts of explosions in the air, which turned into a 10-mile radius, black and dense, and directly suppressed it. Explanations are redundant. All explanations are cover-ups, and excuses are sophistry. No matter how many explanations he gives, he killed Master Shenfeng after all. As for the truth, haha. Fists are power, and swords are reason. Master how to choose to help the truth instead of relatives. If it were in the past, it would not be good to bully the weak with the strong, because of Master King Lian, but it was a deserted place, which was a good place to take revenge. Swish. At this moment, Xuanji made a move, holding the long sword with both hands and slashing up. The yin and yang energies gathered, the power of the 5 element flowed, the power of the stars condensed, the power of the magnetism gathered, the power of time and space condensed, and the power of extinction condensed, turning into a 9-color divine sword. This 9-color divine sword was only 1.5 meters long at the beginning. But with the infusion of mana into it, the 9-color divine sword continued to grow larger and longer, turning into a 10-meter long sword. But the void was flashing, and the power of destruction leaked out. It seemed that there was too much power, too violent, and it was slightly insufficient to control. Bang! The 9-colored divine sword slashed up and cut on the palm. Suddenly, the palm was chopped on the spot. Hey, not bad, not bad. Just the 7th level of the nascent soul can burst out an attack power comparable to the transformation of the gods. At least I was not as good as you back then, and even many of the East Wilderness's geniuses are not as good as you. It's a pity that you will definitely die. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable felt the knife and exclaimed. His words were full of admiration and envy, but the movements of his hands were not slow at all. With the changes in his palms, he attacked and killed. The killing moves were still fierce and destructive. Appreciation is appreciation, and the killing intention is killing intention. The killing moves are still fierce. Boom boom boom. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable blasted out 3 moves in a row, and Lu Xuanji also borrowed 3 moves. After 3 moves, Lu Xuanji felt exhausted. The gap was too big. He exhausted his mana, and fought out 3 swords, each of which was comparable to a blow from the transformation of the gods. But Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable could attack at will. Even if he had the spiritual transformation attack, he could attack 400s of times in a row without taking a breath. Kill. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable slapped down with another palm. Lu Xuanji's body turned into foam and dissipated on the spot. The clone escaped. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable frowned and said, "You can't escape." Following the breath perception, he chased and killed. Chapter 516. 33 Heaven's Treasure. In a flash, Lu Xuanji disappeared. He activated the 9 changes of fish and dragon, and evolved into 3 clones, fleeing in different directions. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable sensed the breath, and chased after one of the clones. Looking at the gradually receding Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable, Lu Xuanji changed his direction and fled. He was extremely fast. After running 100,000 miles, he activated the secret technique to cover his own aura, and hid in the belly of a big fish. The transformation of the spirit is a bit scary. Lu Xuanji estimated. The transformation of the spirit is very powerful. With his current strength, he can't beat it at all. This gap cannot be made up by any secret technique or any killing move. No, there is still a possibility. Lu Xuanji thought. According to the calculation of the mobile phone, when the magic weapons gather to 33 pieces, they can be combined with each other to fight across levels. Now there are only 24 pieces, and there are still 9 pieces missing. Thinking of this, Lu Xuanji took out half a cubic meter of Xianming's engine, and began to forge the remaining 9 magic weapons. In the past, it felt that the magic weapons still had flaws and many shortcomings. There are still many deficiencies in the materials of the magic weapon. But at this moment, there is no need to worry about so much. If the Great Way is flawed, it must be perfected. There is nothing wrong with pursuing perfection, but it is a big mistake to pursue perfection too much. Take out a part of the immortal gold of destiny and use it as the main material. The pure yang true fire begins to forge it. The immortal gold is constantly softening, and then it keeps changing its shape and turns into the form of a longevity lock. Carve runes on it, and the runes are superimposed on each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and finally about 100,000 runes condensed together to form the great array of destiny. The array is integrated into the immortal gold, emitting endless light. Wearing the lock of destiny, there is an immediate feeling that destiny is in my hands. Take out another part of the immortal gold and other auxiliary materials, and start burning and forging. Another magic weapon is forged. The yin and yang energies are surrounded on it, and turned into a scroll called the yin and yang diagram. Melt some immortal gold again, carve the array, and gradually a mirror is formed, called the Emperor Heaven Realm, which can reflect the enemy's attack. It was time to melt some of the immortal gold, the 5 element runes, the yin and yang runes, the star runes, the primordial magnetic runes, the space-time runes, the extinction runes, etc., all gathered together and turned into a 9-color divine sword. The immortal gold was constantly digested, and one magic weapon after another was forged: the measuring ruler, the pure yang mirror, the 4-image map, and the infinite mountain. The last magic weapon forged was the creation map. But just when the 33 magic weapons were completely forged successfully, the Kyang Kangurd, the Chaos Map, the God-Killing Hammer, the Optimus Prime, the Shadowless Sword, the Immortal Shield, the Fixed Sky Mirror, the Cave Eye, the Bridge to the Sky, the Battle Sky Axe, the Heaven Sealing Talisman, the Mysterious Ladder, the Escape Map, the Time Clock, the Gate of All Wonders, the Cave God Gun, the Heavenly Secret Ball, the Heaven Avoiding Coffin, the Awakening Bell, the Chaos Thunder Talisman, the Book of the Earth, the Heaven Repairing Tripod, the Heaven Swallowing Tripod, the Virtual Sky Armor, the Destiny Lock, the Yin and Yang Map, the Emperor's Realm, the 9-color Divine Sword, the Measuring Ruler, the Pure Yang Mirror, the 4-image Tower, the Infinite Mountain, the Creation Map, etc. 33 magic weapons are combined with each other. The magic weapons are resonating, and the auras they emit are connected together and transformed into a whole. They are no longer scattered soldiers, no longer scattered 33 magic weapons, but have become a whole, a set of magic weapons. In the resonance of the magic weapons, the auras of each other are colliding with each other and tempering each other. At the moment of forging magic weapons, there are many flaws and shortcomings in the magic weapons, but in the collision of magic weapons and auras, the flaws are constantly reduced and gradually move towards perfection. Crash. Crash. At this moment, 33 magic weapons are integrated into the body one after another. The God-killing hammer, Optimus Prime, War Axe, etc. increase strength. Tangshan Bridge, Xuanji Ladder, etc. increase speed. Kyankan Gird, Swallowing Heaven Cauldron, Bushanding, etc. increase recovery. Chaos Map, Escape Map, and the Gate of Wonders increase calculation ability and prediction of heavenly secrets. Shadowless Sword, Cave Heaven Divine Spear, 9-colored Divine Sword, etc. increase attack power. Void Heaven Armor, Yin and Yang Map, etc. increase explosive power. Other magic weapons are also added to the body to improve a certain aspect. With the integration of the 33-day magic weapon into the body, Xuanji's spirit and energy have been greatly improved. In terms of strength, speed, defense, explosive power, attack power, recovery, calculation, agility, mana storage, and danger perception, they have all been improved in an all-round way. In an instant, he became a hexagonal warrior without any shortcomings, and every aspect is extremely strong. I'm too strong. Xuanji looked up to the sky and roared, with a strong heart and high spirits. With the comprehensive improvement of his body, he had the urge to fight with Hao Xianzhen. On the road of cultivation, the time of a cultivator is limited. He must focus on something and give up something. It is impossible to be comprehensive, and there must be defects and shortcomings. The existence of magic weapons is to make up for the defects of the cultivator himself. With the integration of the 33-day treasure into the body, Xuanji's defects and shortcomings were all made up, and various advantages were also amplified and strengthened, becoming extremely powerful. But then the magic weapon was retracted, suppressing the impulse and restlessness in his heart, and Xuanji regained his calm. Don't be impatient, don't be reckless, you still need to take steady steps. Xuanji opened Beidou Map to determine the direction. The big fish was swimming and moving towards a nearby island reef. Boom boom boom. A punch was thrown out, and Xuanji's engine in front was killed, and turned into airflow and dissipated. After 3 days of continuous pursuit, he finally killed this clone. As for Xuanji's real body, he lost it. Xuanji's engine ran too fast, but unfortunately I have a hair of yours. A hair appeared in the palm of Hao Xianzhen, which was Xuanji's long hair. Hair, blood, etc. are extremely important to cultivators and rarely leak out. If they fall into the hands of the enemy, they can use blood, hair, etc. to curse or calculate the direction. Xuanji's engine was cautious throughout his life and rarely leaked blood, hair, etc. But a hair still fell into his hands. He activated the spell, made calculations, and quickly determined the direction. His figure flashed, turned into a white light, and disappeared into the void. He fled at an extremely fast speed, turning into a stream of light and disappearing. Half a day later, looking at the sea, there was a golden elixir fish swimming. You are smart to hide in the big fish. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable drew his sword and killed it, and the body of the big fish was immediately torn apart. But at this moment, a flash of light flashed and floated above the sea. It was Xuanji. Hey, how did you find me? Xuanji asked. I have a hair of yours, and I will kill you today. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable said indifferently, drew out the green longsword, and stabbed out. The aura locked Xuanji, cutting off all possibilities of escape. Xuanji sighed. The decisive battle came a little too fast, beyond his expectations. It was impossible to escape again with the help of the incarnation. Many things can only be done once and not twice. At this moment, there is nothing else but a fight to the death. Chapter 517 Pure Yang Immortal Sword. The blue sword slashed down, and the blue texture bloomed out, like a blow lightning rising up, and the endless heaven and earth energy gathered together, turning into a deadly sword and stabbing out. This sword slashed out, without a trace of contempt. Even a lion fights a rabbit, and it still uses all its strength. Any negligence may reverse the victory or defeat. In the eyes of Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable, Xuanji has great potential, fast growth, unlimited possibilities, and many ways to escape. This time he must be killed. This is also the only and last chance. If Xuanji is not killed this time, in the near future, Xuanji will have the opportunity to enter the realm of transformation, and then he will be an unparalleled enemy. Maybe at that moment, he will be the one to die. In history, many strong men thought they were powerful, looked down on certain enemies, let the enemies escape, and were finally killed. There are many such cases. How could he make such a low-level mistake? Kill. With the sword light, it was like thunder and lightning. At this moment, Xuanji made his move. 33 rays of light rose from his body, and his aura was exploding. His cultivation was improved in all directions, without any dead ends or shortcomings. His aura was constantly rising, and his aura was as strong as that of a strong man who had reached the state of transformation. On his palm, a 9-colored divine sword appeared. This divine sword was no longer evolved from the supreme magical power of Great 5-element Yin Yang Yuan Magnetic Starlight Universe Extinction Divine Sword, but a magic weapon forged with various divine materials. At this moment, in conjunction with that supreme magical power, the two were superimposed together, and the combat effectiveness was multiplied. One sword cut off the past and the present. Xuanji urged the long sword, and the power of time flowed on the long sword. Ripples appeared in the void, and the ripples were rippling, causing the laws of time and the void to change. With this sword, the laws of time were prying. It was just prying a little fur, but it was the style of cutting off the past and the present with one sword, and evolving the years with one sword. Thick virtue carries all things. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable urged the long sword, and the divine will on the long sword was changing, from an extremely fierce attack, to constantly evolving into an infinitely thick and heavy one, like Thick Earth carrying all things, evolving into a continental vision, suspended in the void. In the continent, all living beings are walking, buying, and selling goods, visiting relatives and friends, building a country, and evolving civilization. Bang bang. The two sides clashed together. After persisting for a moment, the continental vision turned into ashes on the spot. With the remaining strength, Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable retreated one after another. Second knife, star destruction. Xuanji stepped forward again, and chopped out with the long sword. As the long sword chopped down, the stars in the void were surging, and endless star power descended and gathered on the long sword. The long sword was buzzing. On the long sword, the stars were shining. Carrying the power of the stars, the long sword became extremely heavy, abandoning the skills, like a planet, and hit the Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable with great force. Endless night. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable activated the secret technique, and suddenly the endless night swept in. The day turned into night, and the area within 100 miles was all night. Originally, this knife locked the enemy, and he would not stop until he hit the enemy. But under the night, he lost his target. Boom boom boom. The long sword slashed in the night, and the night did not break apart, but became thicker. The endless night blocked the vision, and even the perception of the mind became weak. Swish. At this moment, a long sword stabbed out. Xuanji activated the long sword to slash out. Ding ding dang dang. The long sword and the sword collided and clashed with each other. The endless night blocked everything, and Xuanji was at a disadvantage. He could activate the escape map, chaos map, Xuanji map, etc., and quickly adapt to the combat environment of the night. With the help of the slight fluctuations in the night, he could quickly capture the enemy's aura and give a fatal blow. The two sides fought fast, and fought for more than 100 moves. The more fierce the battle, the more horrified Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable was. He had seen many cultivators at the 7th level of the nascent soul. There were some peerless Xuanji among them, but no one had ever been as powerful as Xuanji's engine. How huge is the gap between the nascent soul and the god of transformation? Most of the nascent soul cultivators are like ants in front of the god of transformation, and they are slapped to death with a slap. A few evil Xuanji may be able to withstand 3 or 5 moves before being beaten to death. With a 7th level nascent soul cultivator, it took as many as 300 moves to resist a strong man of the god of transformation. Is this still a human? It's simply breaking the record. But the better Xuanji is, the more dignified Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable's killing intent is. Puff. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable activated the secret technique and spit out a mouthful of blood, which scattered on the sword. After the sword was stained with blood, light flashed on it, and a trace of evil spirit rose on the sword edge, and a trace of destruction was brewing in it. Sacrifice sword technique. Kill. How to Xuanji activated the sword, and suddenly the man in the sword merged into one, turning into a stream of light, piercing Xuanji. With this sword, no ghosts or gods would survive. Not good. Xuanji felt the breath of death. He couldn't catch this sword. Swish. At this moment, a cave bead appeared on his palm. He activated his magic power, and the cave bead turned into a stream of light and hit How to Xuanji's forehead. How to Xuanji activated the sacrifice sword technique, and when he was about to pierce Xuanji's nascent soul, he felt a bead falling down. There was a causal breath on the bead. Throwing it out was the cause. Hitting it was the result. When it was thrown, it was bound to hit. The sword was activated, and it hit the bead. The bead hit the sword, but it made a crisp sound, and the sword was broken on the spot, and broke into 2 pieces. The remaining force hit his chest. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable flew backwards, spitting blood from his mouth, with a flash of surprise in his eyes. Dangshan Pearl, this is a 7th grade spiritual treasure. If the Dangshan Pearl fell into my hands, I would have wiped out the demon race of the 10,000 mountains long ago. Unfortunately, it fell into the hands of a mere Yuanying junior like you, and it's a bit of a pearl in the dark. As he spoke, he stretched out his hand to grab it. The pearl was struggling, but it gradually fell into his palm. When Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable was about to activate the secret technique to refine it, he felt an inexplicable danger. Xuanji drew his sword, and stabbed it out. This was a broken sword, only 1 foot and 3 inches long. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable waved his hand and slapped it out. This palm turned into a terrifying aura that swept over, and he was about to slap him away. But the broken sword pierced through the aura, and then pierced his heart. The destructive pure yang power swept over, and annihilated his life. Kill. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable waved his hand and hit Xuanji. Xuanji flew backwards, spitting blood from his mouth. Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable's footsteps flashed, and he was about to step forward to kill him. At this moment, he felt a pain in his chest, and the destructive energy attacked his body, and corroded his soul. Is this broken sword an immortal weapon? Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable said, with a flash of unwillingness in his eyes. His eyes went black, he lost consciousness, and turned into eternal darkness. Chapter 518 Xianhe Gate, White Whale Island. In the void, the body of Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable fell down. At the moment of falling, the body gradually fell towards the sea, but when it was about to fall into the sea, it turned into flying ashes and scattered. The Pure Yang Immortal Sword was too sharp. The Pure Yang Immortal Sword was the island guarding artifact of the ancient Sword Island. It was a magical weapon that surpassed the 9th grade and belonged to the level of an immortal weapon. Even if it was cut off in the catastrophe, it still had the powerful power of an immortal weapon. It only pierced the body of Thick Earth Heavenly Venerable, and the immortal laws inside eroded it, which was to completely kill it. Ahem. I won. I survived. Xuanji laughed. The incarnation was chasing him, but he fell in his hands. In the end, he survived. How lucky and proud it was. After a cough, his body was slightly sore. He put away the magic weapon, and the aura on his body was falling to the 7th level of the nascent soul. His mana was also exhausted, but he couldn't help laughing. There was an indescribable feeling of comfort all over his body. To cultivate immortality is to take revenge for hatred, repay kindness for kindness, understand all causes and effects, and be happy to repay kindness and hatred. Only when the mind is clear can one feel comfortable and cultivate quickly. Now that his enemy has fallen, he feels indescribably comfortable. Xuanji stepped forward, took off the storage bag, wiped off the remaining divine thoughts in it, and began to count the spoils. There were only more than 1,000 top-grade spiritual stones in the storage bag, which was a bit small. There was also a piece of 9 heavens divine jade, which was about the size of a wash basin, with a green light, and could be forged into a 6th grade spiritual treasure. There was also a piece of Xuanhuang Mother Iron, which was also a 6th grade material, about the size of a fist. There were also other elixirs, such as Beluodan, Zaohuadan, Shanlingdan, etc., all of which were precious. Counting these, Lu Xuanji had only one feeling, that he had made a fortune. He had made a fortune. When a whale falls, all things come to life. When a giant falls, countless small animals are fed. When the giant of the god of transformation falls, the spoils harvested are also huge, so big that it makes people jealous. Hey. Lu Xuanji opened a box, and there was a golden fruit inside. This is the sun fruit. If a fire attributed cultivator takes it, it can make the mana in the body more pure and the foundation deeper. This is a treasure obtained from the Fusang tree. Lu Xuanji sighed, but this fruit is of little use to me for the time being. He closed the box again and put it into the storage bag. He looted the broken sword and other treasures and threw them into the storage bag. Later, he entered the body of a big fish and began to recuperate. Time passed, and 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Lu Xuanji's aura burst out, as fierce as the tide, and the spiritual energy around him surged and turned into a huge spiritual energy vortex. As the spiritual energy entered his body, Lu Xuanji's momentum continued to rise, and finally broke through the shackles, and entered the 8th level of the nascent soul. The mana was increasing, the blood was increasing, and the nascent soul became more real. Standing in the void, it immediately exuded a breath of destruction. 33 magic weapons hummed, nourished by blood and magic power, and steadily improved. After a short rest, he drove the big fish to continue moving forward. About 10 days later, he saw a huge island in front of him. There was a city emerging on the island, with spiritual fields, monks, spiritual beasts, shops, etc. It looked very prosperous. After drifting on the sea for more than 10 years, he finally saw people, and felt indescribable joy. On the island, there was a deep water port, and huge sea boats were anchored here. One after another, they docked steadily and orderly. There were monks directing on the shore, and monks came forward one after another to move the goods, load them into the carriage, and transport the goods. Lu Xuanji walked across the dock, and entered the depths of the island. On the island, tall trees were planted to form a windbreak forest, to block the violent sea breeze. The rice fields were continuous, and the straw was shaking slightly, emitting a faint fragrance. There were monks walking in the rice fields, taking care of them carefully, hoeing the land, cleaning pests, etc. In the distance, there is a huge city, built of black stones, stretching for dozens of miles. On the city tower, there are monks patrolling and guarding the surroundings. The city gate is huge, 3 feet high, and 1 foot wide, and there are monks in heavy armor watching the pedestrians vigilantly. A monk came forward, and handed over a token. Only after confirming the identity can you enter. If you don't have a token, you need to spend 100 spirit stones to buy one. Spending 100 spirit stones, Lu Xuanji bought the token, and entered the city. He scanned the token with his mind and immediately determined its function. This token is equivalent to an ID card, and it has a positioning effect, which can restrict certain behaviors of the monks. After entering the city, Lu Xuanji looked around. There were many shops inside, which were quite prosperous, and there were many people flowing, but there were still many poor low-level monks who barely made ends meet. In the city, renting a room casually would cost more than 1,000 spirit stones a year, which can be said to be expensive. But there are still many low-level monks who spend a lot of spirit stones to rent some shops or caves in the city to make a living. Just because it is very safe in the city. In the city, fighting and killing are prohibited. If there is a problem, you can directly go to the life and death stage to duel. If it is in the outside world, a giant and cultivator can kill a foundation building cultivator if he is unhappy with him. As the saying goes, the strong are respected, but in the city, a giant and cultivator cannot kill a foundation building cultivator if he is unhappy with him. For many low-level cultivators, although the housing prices in the city are high, it is also a safe paradise. At this time, a 10-year-old boy stepped forward and said, "Senior, do you need a guide? I'm familiar with everything here, and I can lead the way for you. I only need 10 spirit stones, and I can be your guide for a day." "Okay, thank you," Lu Xuanji said, waving his hand and throwing 10 spirit stones. The boy took the 10 spirit stones and felt flattered. He has seen many high-level cultivators, but this is the first one to say thank you to him. "Senior, where are you going?" the boy asked. Tell me, what is the name of this city? What is the name of this island? And are there any big forces nearby? Lu Xuanji asked 3 questions in a row. Senior, this island is called Beiyu Island, and this city is called Beiyu City. In this city, the Zhao family is the master. There is a giant and cultivator in the Zhao family, who is the undisputed overlord of dozens of nearby islands. The young man said, the biggest force here is Xuanji. It is said that there are 3 gods in charge. Xuanji rules over 100,000 islands. The largest island is called Beijing Island, which covers an area of millions of square kilometers. There are many cultivators and resources in it, and many Yuan cultivators walk among them. When talking about Jiandan, his eyes were full of envy. Lu Xuanji asked again, and the young man answered. Gradually, the information about this sea area, the general geographical outline, etc., also appeared in his memory. Xuanji, is there a teleportation array? Lu Xuanji asked. Senior, I don't know about this. The young man said embarrassedly, I'm only at the 5th level of key refining. I don't know these things. Lu Xuanji asked, are there any special products here? Beiyu Island is rich in a kind of white fish, which tastes extremely delicious. The young man began to introduce. Lu Xuanji also asked. After some questions and answers, they soon arrived at a shop. Inside the shop, there was a scent of golden elixir. Chapter 519, presenting the treasure map. After entering the shop, Lu Xuanji immediately exuded a trace of Yuan aura to announce his arrival. He didn't intend to pretend to be a pig and eat the tiger, so he directly exuded a trace of terrifying aura to show his identity. Most cultivators were too weak to sense anything, but the giant and cultivator sensed everything and appeared quickly, respectfully saying, Senior, what is the purpose of coming to my Beiyu Island? I need a nearby sea chart and relevant information about Beijing Island. Lu Xuanji said, name a price. Senior, wait a moment. The giant and cultivator said and disappeared. After a while, he brought a sea chart and a jade slip with relevant information on it. Senior, only 1000 middle grade spirit stones are needed. The giant and cultivator said, I'll give you 2000 middle grade spirit stones. Lu Xuanji said, and directly handed over 2000 middle grade spirit stones. Thank you, Senior. The giant and cultivator immediately thanked. Goodbye. Lu Xuanji left the shop. The boy also looked at this scene stupidly and followed him out of the shop. That giant and cultivator was one of the ancestors of the Zhao family, but he treated this senior with respect. This senior might be a giant and Zenran, or even more powerful. As they walked, they arrived at the city gate, and Lu Xuanji said, young man, please leave. I'm leaving. Senior, are you a giant and Zenran? The young man asked. No, I'm a Yuan cultivator. Lu Xuanji said. Senior, are you willing to accept me as your disciple? The young man asked, but he regretted it the moment he opened his mouth, because his aptitude was average, with only 4 spiritual roots. His comprehension was also average, belonging to ordinary people. As for his physique, it was also the physique of a mortal, without a special physique. From inside to outside, he was an ordinary person. What qualifications did he have to worship under a Yuan's engine? Lu Xuanji said, I have to go far away, and don't have time, and your aptitude is average. The meaning of rejection was already very obvious. There are also corresponding standards for accepting disciples. The aptitude of the disciple must be good. If it is not a natural spiritual route, it must be a second spiritual route, or an alien spiritual route, or have a special physique. This way of training has low cost and fast growth rate, which is more efficient than training some useless people. Of course, if someone has outstanding comprehension, comparable to the comprehension of the ruthless emperor, even if the aptitude is a little worse, even if it is useless, he will be accepted as a disciple. But the person in front of him has average aptitude and comprehension, and is not suitable to be his disciple. Senior, I have a treasure map to present to you. I hope you will accept me as your disciple. The young man knelt on the ground and took out a treasure map from the storage bag and handed it over. The treasure map seemed to be forged from some animal skin, with patterns and some ancient characters engraved on it, like a ghost symbol painting. Lu Xuanji just took the treasure map casually, looking very indifferent. But when his mind scanned it, a trace of astonishment flashed across his face. Looking at it carefully again, the astonishment was increasing. After reading it 3 times in a row, Xuanji put away the treasure map and said, "Let's go." Yes. The young man stood up. The two left the city, and a flying boat appeared under Xuanji's feet, carrying the 2 people away. A moment later, the 2 appeared on the sea. The blue ocean was sparkling and rippling. There were seabirds flying in the sky, fish swimming in the distance, and the breeze was blowing, and the hair was flying. Xuanji asked, "Where did that treasure map come from?" The young man smiled bitterly and said, "My ancestors were also rich. This treasure map was left by the old ancestor. Why give it to me?" Xuanji asked. "Senior is not bad. I can exchange it for something if I give it to you. But if it is someone else, they may not be as trustworthy as you," the young man said. In just a short moment, he roughly guessed the character of this senior. This senior has good character. This is why he was bold enough to offer the treasure map. If it was a cultivator with bad character, he would not, and would not dare to do so. "Okay, you will be my apprentice," Xuanji said. "Your aptitude is a bit poor. You must find a way to improve your aptitude or your cultivation speed will be very slow." Senior, the young man was stunned. "Kneel down and become my disciple," Xuanji said. "Disciple, Li Qingwei, greets the master." The young man knelt on the deck, kowtowed. "Disciple, the master's name is Xuanji, and I come from the east wasteland of Yuanzhou. I won't stay here for too long. I will return to the east wasteland soon." Xuanji spoke, saying some extremely important information. Li Qingwei, with average talent, average understanding, and average opportunity, is immortal. In theory, he is not qualified to be his disciple. But the treasure map is too valuable, so it is worth making an exception. After instructing for a while, Xuanji took out a 5th grade fortune pill and handed it over. Li Qingwei took it on the spot, and immediately his body felt like it was on fire, and he was sweating all over, like braised prawns, and he felt indescribable discomfort and pain all over. At this moment, it was like being cut into pieces, and his whole body was in extreme pain. RRR. He couldn't help but scream. "Disciple, you have to hold on," Xuanji said. "Disciple, your aptitude is average. You only have 4 spiritual roots, and there is little hope of achieving foundation building, and your future prospects are limited. If you want to change all this, it is important to improve your aptitude. The pill just now is a 5th grade fortune pill. After taking the 5th grade fortune pill, you can cleanse your marrow and remove hair, improve the aptitude of the cultivator, and let your cultivation aptitude continue to improve, comparable to the 2nd grade spiritual root cultivator, and there is hope for the golden elixir in the future. Disciple, you have to hold on." Disciple understands. After just a few calls, Li Qingwei stopped calling. He didn't want this teacher to look down on him. He has average aptitude, average comprehension, average luck, and average opportunities. Many of them are average, belonging to the ordinary people. If you want to achieve something, you must have firm perseverance. If you can't even bear the pain of being pointed at, how can you get the favor of the teacher, and how can you change your fate against the will of heaven? Looking at this disciple, struggling in pain, but forcibly holding back from calling, Xuanji was very satisfied. At least there is still a little willpower. Even rotten wood can be carved. After a quarter of an hour, Li Qingwei stood up, and the pain in his body was reduced by more than half. "Thank you, master," Li Qingwei said. His body was a little weak, but there was a sense of joy in his eyes. Just now, when he activated the skills, spiritual energy immediately rolled in, and the speed of absorbing spiritual energy was more than 3 times faster. He still had 4 spiritual roots, but after taking the 5th grade fortune pill, his physical fitness was greatly improved. "You go and rest for a while. I will sort out the skills for you," Xuanji said. "Yes." As he said that, Li Qingwei went into the cabin to rest. Xuanji also went into the cabin and opened the treasure map to examine it carefully. This treasure map is very valuable. Touching the animal skin seems inconspicuous, but the qualification inspection found that it is extremely tough. It is forged from the fur of a high-level fierce beast, at least the animal skin of a combined demon beast. There is a picture on it, recording the location of a treasure house. There are ancient characters on the scroll, at least 1,000,000 years old. He happened to recognize it. After another moment of identification, it was confirmed that the treasure map was real. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 520 Xuanji Gate Teleportation Array. After careful study, Xuanji confirmed that the treasure map was real. According to the text on it, Taoist Kyankan once left a treasure house on Zhuzhou. People in the future can use a treasure map to go to this secret place. There are methods to open the treasure house and enter the treasure house. I have never heard of Taoist Kyankan. Xuanji frowned slightly, recalling the records in books and some rumors. He could not think of any information about Taoist Kyankan. Obviously, in the long history, many top cultivators have disappeared in the long river of history and are unknown to the world. In the world of cultivating immortals, the Purple Mansion cultivator is respected as the ancestor, the Golden Pill is respected as the true man, the Yuanying is respected as the true lord, the Huishan is called the heavenly lord, and the Liangsu is called the immortal lord. However, the great man who can combine the Tao and the giant who can cross the tribulation call themselves Taoists. Taoists are people who seek the Tao. From the title of Taoist Kyankan, his terrifying cultivation can be inferred. At least he has the cultivation of Hedao. When he reaches that realm, his cultivation is earth-shattering. He dominates the starry sky, and he can be called an eternal giant. Zhuzhou is in another continent, far away from here. The treasure of this great man is full of dangers. If I go in with my small body, I will be sending my head. Xuanji put away the treasure map, and a trace of caution flashed in his eyes. In the past, he was only a Purple Mansion cultivator, but he broke into the Sword Island. Now it seems a bit too brave. But with the improvement of cultivation and the increase of knowledge, he lost his former bravery and became more cautious in doing things. Only when you enter the Liangsu cultivation, you are qualified to explore the treasure house of Kyankan Taoist. For this treasure map, it is not a loss to accept Li Qingwei as a disciple. The flying boat was moving forward, and about a month later, a huge island appeared. It is called an island, but it is actually a huge continent with an area of 5 million square kilometers. There are grasslands, river valleys, deserts, etc. on it. Various complex terrains are mixed together, and the environment is quite rich and complex. Landing on this island, Xuanji immediately felt the rich spiritual energy, which was 3 times that of the outside world, and in some special areas the spiritual energy was even richer. On this continent, there are many cities, and there are also cultivators walking in them. There are many foundation building cultivators, Purple Mansion cultivators, and Golden Elixir cultivators, and they are constantly flowing. On the continent, there are cities scattered one after another, and there are many sacred mountains scattered around, which appear to be scattered and orderly. Xuanji led his disciples to walk on the continent, carefully exploring the intelligence here and collecting relevant information. About a month later, Xuanji confirmed the relevant information, wrote a greeting card, handed it to Li Qingwei and said, "Disciple, take the greeting card and go to see the head of Xianhaman and say that Xuanji's engine is here to see you." Li Qingwei took the greeting card and said respectfully, "Child, I understand." He disappeared with the greeting card. In order to prevent the disciple from making mistakes, he left an incarnation on his body to prevent accidents. After walking out of the cave, Li Qingwei was a little nervous, but he still stepped towards a certain mountain. The mountain was huge and steep, thousands of meters high, with lush green trees, fragrant medicinal herbs, and cranes flying high in the sky. There were cultivators coming in and out, all emitting powerful auras, some for foundation building, and some for Purple Palace. There were also 2 cultivators standing under the mountain, acting as gatekeepers. Looking at the people coming in and out, Li Qingwei was a little scared. But he still mustered up the courage and said loudly, "Xuanji's engine, I come to visit the master. This is a visiting card." The sound was buzzing, and the 2 guards were slightly surprised. One of the guards came forward and asked, "What is your name, fellow Taoist?" Junior, Li Qingwei. My master has come here to pay his respects to the master. As he said, Li Qingwei handed over the visiting card. The guard took the visiting card and saw 2 words written on it, visiting card. Looking at the 2 words, the guard immediately felt dizzy and his eyes were dizzy. He looked away and said, wait a moment. When a certain true lord came to pay his respects, even the head of the sect had to show some courtesy. After a moment, he sent a visiting card. The guard said, the head of the sect is in retreat and will not be able to come out until about 10 years later. It may take some time to wait. Thank you. Li Qingwei also breathed a sigh of relief. After saying hello, he turned around and left. Back in the cave, Li Qingwei told the news. The head of Xianhe sect is in retreat. Lu Xuanji thought, then we will wait for 10 years, just in time for retreat and hard practice. Qingwei, I can also give you some pointers. Disciple understands. After reaching the nascent soul stage, it may take decades to retreat once. I don't know how time passes. Then wait for him 10 years, just in time to sort out his cultivation. 10 years later, Lu Xuanji woke up. His cultivation was only slightly improved. At this time, a cultivator came to pay his respects and said that the head of the sect had ended his retreat. He specially invited true Lord Xuanji. Finally I can go home. Lu Xuanji couldn't help but sigh and left here with flashing steps. After a while, he entered a cave and saw the head of Xianhe sect. This was a middle-aged man with an elegant face, a wisp of beard on his chin, and a gleam in his eyes, giving people a shrewd feeling. When he saw Lu Xuanji, he immediately exuded a trace of terrifying aura and pressured him. Lu Xuanji was not polite either, and his aura pressured him. Sizzle. Sizzle. Sparks were flying in the void, and the auras of both sides clashed. About 3 moments later, the head of Xianhe sect retracted his aura, and Lu Xuanji also retracted his aura. Fellow Daoist Xuanji, what do you want to see me for? The head of Xianhe sect, also known as Wang Xiangzhenjin. At this time, Wang Xiangzhenjin asked. It's just that his words are very respectful. Just in the collision of auras just now, he suffered a little loss. This Xuanji Zhenjin's cultivation is not simple. He is a tough guy, worthy of his respect. Fellow Daoist Wang Xiang, I'm not polite. Not long ago, I explored a secret place, but something unexpected happened, and I was teleported here. I want to use the teleportation array of Xianhe sect to go to the east wasteland of Yuanzhou. Lu Xuanji said, I would like to ask for your help here. It will take another 100 years before the teleportation array is opened. Wang Xiangzhenjin said, fellow Daoist, please wait for a while. Lu Xuanji smiled and said, of course I understand this. But I can't wait that long. Fellow Daoist, can you open the teleportation array in advance? As he said that, he handed over a storage bag with 100 top-grade spirit stones in it. Looking at these spirit stones, the head of Xianhe sect said, the teleportation array can be opened in 10 days. Thank you for your help. Lu Xuanji said, if you come to my east wasteland and go to Chu state, you can come to Danliang sect as a guest. After talking for a while, Lu Xuanji left. It's not easy. Wang Xiangzhenjin flashed a trace of murderous intent and gave up. After thinking for a while, Chapter 521 Return to You. In the north of the island, a huge round platform appeared, with a height of 1.5 meters and a diameter of 3 meters. The round platform was forged with void divine stone, and was engraved with array patterns on it. The dense and complicated combination of array patterns, and the power of space was surging in the array patterns. Under the round platform, there was a 5th grade spiritual vein as a power source. The array patterns were activated, and the teleportation array was running, and it would be teleported to a distant place in the next moment. It only took a moment for the teleportation array to be fully activated. The teleportation array was at least a 4th grade array. The array patterns, the materials needed, and the requirements for the array mage, etc., were arranged. Only the Yuanying family could afford the huge cost. As for the long-distance teleportation array, only the power of the god of transformation could build it. Every time the teleportation array was opened, a large amount of high-level spiritual stones would be consumed. The number of items that could be transmitted each time was limited. If the number was too large, it might be overloaded, and the transmission would fail. This time, Xuanji opened the teleportation array for only one person. Daoyao, the teleportation array is about to be activated. It leads to U state. Have a safe trip. Wang Xiang's engine said, this is the token of Xuanji Gate. If you have time, you can come again. I will come when I have time. You are also welcome to Chu State. Lu Xuanji smiled and took the token. He casually put the token into the storage bag. Then, Lu Xuanji and Li Qingwei stepped onto the round platform. The teleportation array was activated, and then a stream of light flashed, and the two disappeared. Seeing the two leave, Wang Xiang's engine also breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, a man appeared with a cold breath, like a poisonous snake. He looked at the teleportation array and frowned slightly, saying, brother, just let them go like this. That true Lord Xuanji is a fat sheep. I just use the treasure search plate to calculate that he has a flash of precious light on his body and many magic weapons. If we surround and kill him, we can make a small fortune. True Lord Wang Xiang said, not only did you calculate it, I also calculated it for a moment. This true Lord Xuanji has a lot of luck on his body, many magic weapons and spirit stones. More than 200 top grade spirit stones. He took them out without blinking an eye. It only cost 100 top grade spirit stones to open the teleportation array this time. If we kill true Lord Xuanji, we will not only make a small fortune, but a big fortune. True Lord Xuanming said, in that case, why don't we do it? With the four of us joining forces, we will definitely be able to kill true Lord Xuanji. Four true lords can't kill Lu Xuanji. True Lord Wang Xiang said, junior brother, you are still a little naive. You only know one thing, but not the other. True Lord Xuanji is only at the 7th level of the nascent soul, but his fighting power is so strong that four true lords still can't deal with him. It's best to ask the ancestors of the God of Transformation, but will they take action? True Lord Xuanming shook his head and fell silent. The God of Transformation is very busy, and the God of Transformation still has face. No, it is impossible to take action. Even if we kill true Lord Xuanji, what's the matter? There is also a powerful God of Transformation behind him. If we kill him, the news will inevitably leak out. At that time, the powerful God of Transformation will come to block the door, and we may be handed over to appease his anger. Some people can be killed, but some people can't be killed. If you do something wrong, I don't mind killing relatives for the sake of justice. In the world of cultivating immortals, killing people to rob treasures is nothing. But killing people who should not be provoked is to let the sect take the blame, which is impossible. Xuanming's engine listened, his heart chilled, and said, brother, I will pay attention. Wang Xiang's engine said, you must remember, one more friend is one more way, one more enemy is one more wall. You must be kind to others, especially those top strong ones. The change in the void lasted less than 3 seconds. Lu Xuanji regained his senses, and was already in new state. The senior is here. The giant and cultivator who was guarding here said, thank you. Lu Xuanji said, and threw another 3000 high-grade spirit stones as a tip. After a while, Lu Xuanji and Li Qingwei left. Back to U State, they were very close to Chu State. Li Qingwei said, Master, Xuanji is not in good shape. Over the years, it has destroyed countless small forces, suppressed many factions, and killed countless people for treasures. Many spectators were killed on the way. I know. Lu Xuanji smiled. Along the way, Wang Xiang's engine tried many times, and wanted to attack me many times. After all, I'm a big fat sheep. But in the end, Wang Xiang's engine clearly gave up. Qingwei, do you know why? Li Qingwei said, disciple doesn't know. Lu Xuanji said, because I'm very powerful, the powerful Wang Xiang's engine can't bite it, so he can only give up. Of course, if Wang Xiang's engine asked the God Transformation ancestor to take action, it would still be possible to kill me. But do you think the God Transformation ancestor Fu will take action? No. Li Qingwei said. In this world, the strong are respected in essence, but another way to put it is to bully the weak and fear the strong. Many cultivators say that the strong are respected, but in their bones they are bullying the weak and fearing the strong. Killing people and seizing treasures is only for some weak people, some fat sheep, but when you are strong enough, no one dares to think about you. What is invincible? It means that someone is so powerful that no one is willing to be an enemy. In Chu, I have no enemies. Looking back on his life experience over the past 1,000 years, he seemed to have no enemies. Those who chose to be his enemies have long turned into ashes. Most potential enemies, seeing his extraordinary qualifications and his excellence and strength, quickly chose to turn enemies into friends. From this perspective, pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger and being a king is essentially wrong. Pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger seems to be fishing and calculating certain people, but it also turns some potential friends into enemies to a certain extent. If you show the strength of a tiger, will those powerful enemies still come to kill you and provoke you? Not at all. Master, I understand. Li Qingwei nodded. Thinking back to the extermination of the family, it was all because the family was too weak, so the Li family was exterminated. If the Li family had a Yuanying's engine, would Cheyenne Heyman still be a rival? Most likely not. Cheyenne Heyman seems to be overbearing and rampant, but it is also extremely cautious in doing things. There are many bad people in the world of cultivating immortals, but bad people are not stupid people. Many bad people seem to be arrogant and overbearing, but they don't provoke anyone. They are still very friendly to some big forces, and even form allies. Being bad is not scary, but being stupid is scary. Bad people don't necessarily have a miserable ending. Many bad people still live freely and comfortably, but if they are bad and stupid, they often have a miserable ending. If Cheyenne Heyman is bad and stupid, if they are not happy with someone, they will kill him, and if they are not happy with a certain force, they will destroy the whole family. They are arrogant and brainless, and they would have been beaten to death by a group of people long ago. But in fact, Cheyenne Heyman has offended many forces over the years, but there are also many corresponding allies. Yugo, Lu Fan is here. Lu Xuanji suddenly thought of a son who lived in Yugo. Chapter 522, Yu Kingdom Lu Family. At this moment, Lu Xuanji thought of his two sons, Lu Xian and Lu Fan. Over the years, the Lu family has been growing stronger and the number of cultivators has increased, resulting in a shortage of resources in the territory. At this moment, they are faced with two choices. One is to go to war and seize the territory of nearby cultivation families. The other is to split up, establish some branches, and establish forces in other places. The first way is not easy to go. Near the Lu family, there are some Yuanying families or related connections. Without sufficient excuses and reasons, it is impossible to go to war to seize territory. If you can't find a suitable reason, you just choose to go to war, which will make the Lu family's popularity very bad. Even rabbits don't eat grass near their nests, let alone the Lu family. Is the Lu family not even as good as rabbits? In the end, the Lu family can only choose the second one. Over the years, the Lu family began to split up. After reaching the Jiandan stage, they can leave their ancestral land and go to other areas of the Chu state or nearby Wu, Yu, Qi, Yan, Zhao and other regions to establish branches of the Lu family. After the split, the Lu family's resource consumption is relatively reduced and the risk is also reduced. The main vein and the branch veins watch each other and can support each other if they encounter a strong enemy attack. If they encounter a big disaster, after the main vein is destroyed, other branches can also continue the inheritance of the Lu family. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. The clan members can also reduce the risk by dispersing them. After the two sons Lu Xian and Lu Fan became Yuanying, they did not choose to stay in Chu and inherit the family business, but left Chu and went to other places to open another vein. Lu Xian went to Wu, and Lu Fan went to Yu to open a branch of the Lu family. It has been more than 200 years since the separation. I miss my two sons a little. Thinking of this, Lu Xuanji went to Yu. Listening to the master's story, Li Qingwei's expression fluctuated. Chu is a country of immortal cultivation, and Yu is a demon country. The demon country is a country that mainly cultivates demons. Although Yu is a demon country, it also abides by some rules, such as rabbits do not eat grass near their nests. The demon cultivators of Yu are not allowed to kill the people of Yu and the cultivators of Yu. To practice magic skills, one can only kill the demons in the 10,000 mountains, or fight with the Wu kingdom and the Chu kingdom, to obtain some special resources. Eastern wilderness, there is still order. Li Qing sighed slightly. The significance of the existence of U Kingdom is mainly that some major forces use U Kingdom to attract many demon cultivators here, objectively reducing the number of demon cultivators in some countries, which is conducive to regional stability. But in the Storm Sea and the islands, it is even more chaotic and disorderly. The golden light under his feet was flashing, and just a moment later, a sacred mountain was in sight, and Xuanji descended. Who are you? Are you the ancestor? A cultivator discovered Xuanji's identity and immediately welcomed him in. After entering Lingshan, Lu Fan arrived just a moment later and said, "Meet father." "Not bad, not bad. You are already at the second level of the nascent soul. You are considered an outstanding genius." Xuanji said, "Feina, this is your junior brother. Meet senior brother. Meet junior brother." The two greeted each other, and Lu Fan handed over a storage bag, saying, "Junior brother, take this, just as pocket money." "Thank you, senior brother," Li Qingwei said, and left later, leaving the space to the father and son. "Feina, how is U Kingdom recently?" Xuanji asked. 30 years ago, half of U Kingdom's territory fell, but just when U Kingdom was about to fall, the Six Desires Patriarch took action and killed 3 great demons of the Sea Clan in one fell swoop, stabilizing the situation of the clan. The situation has been relatively stable recently, and the war is still going on, but it is generally peaceful. As he spoke, he talked about the battle in detail. The Six Desires Demon Lord, everyone in the world underestimates him. Xuanji said, "There is only one powerful god transforming master in the Kingdom of Yu. In our opinion, the Kingdom of Yu is a little dangerous, but who would have thought that the dangerous ones are those sea tribes?" Lu Fan said, "The Kingdom of Yu is a demon country, and it is mainly composed of demon cultivators. Most of the demon cultivators' skills are very dangerous, but once they survive the catastrophe, they are unprecedentedly powerful. Many demon cultivators can fight across levels. Over the years, in order to compete for territory, they have been fighting with some demon cultivators, and fierce battles have continued. The Lu family has suffered a lot of losses, but it can still hold on." Xuanji asked, "Feina, do you need your father to help?" "Father, don't do it. I'm not a child anymore, and I'm also a nascent soul true lord. As for the Lu family of the Kingdom of Yu, there are 3 nascent soul true lords and more than 30 giant and cultivators. As for the Purple Mansion cultivators, Foundation Establishment cultivators, etc., there are even more of them. The child can still hold on." Lu Fan directly refused. "How can I continue to trouble my father?" "Feina, I will always be your father. When you encounter a difficult threshold or some danger, ask me for help." Xuanji said. "I understand, son." Lu Fan nodded. "I just came back from afar, and these things are just right for you." Xuanji opened the storage bag and began to take out some things. 1,000 top grade spirit stones, 300,000 third grade spirit stones, 3 5th grade fortune pills, 5 pure yang pills, 2 bottles of yuan ying pills, 3 5th grade spiritual treasures, 3 5th grade peaches, 3 5th grade fortune fruits, 2 5th grade 5 element fruits, and a variety of other things. There were about 7 layers of things in the storage bag, and they were all taken out and given directly to Lu Fan. Even though Lu Fan was more than 700 years old, he was still his son, and he still had to take care of him. "Father, these things are too much." Looking at these items, Lu Fan trembled slightly. There were too many things, and the value was precious. Dad emptied his pockets and gave them all to him. "Father, I can't take this, and I can't take this either." Lu Fan pushed some things over again. Father also has a Taoist partner and needs to support the family. Life is not easy. How can he leave everything to me? Father is also at the 8th level of the nascent soul. In a few days, he will have to buy the Earth Soul pill or the Yuanshan pill, and he also needs to save money. I can't take too much. The biggest shortcoming of his father is that he cares too much about feelings. The good things are all left to his mother. The good things are all left to their brothers. This also led to the fact that his father's talent was originally against the sky, but his cultivation speed was very slow. "No, you take this. Your father, I still have some money in my pocket. You don't need to worry about it. You should take care of yourself." Xuanji said. Since the new function, mobile banking, of his mobile phone was opened, he has used his mobile phone to convert a large number of spirit stones and is quite wealthy. Father, take these. You keep these. The father and son pushed each other, and in the end Lu Fan only took half of the things. Lu Xuanji had no choice but to take half of the things. Son, it's just that the self-esteem is too strong. This is not good. Son, isn't it only natural for you to spend your dad's money? Chapter 523, Venting My Son's Anger. Seeing Lu Fan putting away some treasures, Lu Xuanji said, Feina, seeing that you are safe and sound, I will leave too. Lu Fan asked, Father, won't you stay a few more days? I have been away from home for decades, and I miss home. Lu Xuanji said, I wonder how your mother and several aunts are doing. The current situation is not good, and Chu still cannot do without me. Then the child will not keep father. Lu Fan said, Father, take care on the way. You should also be careful in your state. Lu Xuanji said. After another moment of admonition, Lu Xuanji disappeared. Looking at his disappearing father, Lu Fan could no longer bear it, and spit out a mouthful of blood on the spot. His originally ruddy face turned pale again. His breath was waning, no longer as strong as before, and became weak. Cough cough cough. After coughing a few times, Lu Fan's face changed, and his complexion became much better. Husband, if you ask father for help, we can easily resolve the current predicament. At this time, a beautiful woman walked out. It was Mirangzu. Father is an unparalleled giant. He once suppressed and killed a half-step god. He is also famous in Yu Kingdom. Don't bother father with this little thing. Lu Fan said, we can't rely on father for everything. Mirangzu said, the Wang family and the Zheng family are aggressive towards my Lu family. If we don't fight back, they will go further and take advantage of the fire to rob. Lu Fan said, Xiaoxu, then we will give up some interests appropriately. Give up 8 mineral veins such as Taolin Mountain and Sunset Ridge. Some of the outer territories are also appropriately given up. If you are not as strong as others, you have to admit defeat. If you continue to hold on, it will be my Lu family that suffers. Mirangzu said, at this point, this is the only way. But in the future, my Lu family will have a hard time. If it's not easy, then practice more, improve your strength, and then take back everything you lost. Lu Fan said. After talking for a while, Lu Fan went back to recuperate. My son is injured. Lu Xuanji disappeared, but did not leave Yu State. Just when they were talking, he found that his son Lu Fan was injured, seriously injured. He wanted to ask something, but he endured it. Lu Fan's aptitude was not good. He only had 5 spiritual roots in his childhood. He spent a lot of resources to cultivate him to the Jiandan realm. The resources spent were enough to cultivate 5 Jiandan monks. Only Lu Fan was his son, and he could cultivate him regardless of the cost. Because of the excessive resources spent, it also caused a lot of controversy in the Lu family. Although he was quickly calmed down, Lu Fan also became extremely depressed and sensitive, and his self-esteem was very strong. When encountering certain things, he mostly handled them by himself, and rarely asked his father for help. Disciple, we won't leave for the time being, but we have to find out some things. Lu Xuanji said, and his footsteps flashed and disappeared quickly. On the way, he met a purple mansion monk, who immediately descended, exuding a trace of terrifying aura. The purple mansion monk was trembling with fear and immediately said, Senior, what's the matter? I want to know what happened to the Lu family recently. Lu Xuanji asked. The purple mansion cultivator was puzzled and asked, that Lu family? It's the Lu family of Walong Mountain. Lu Xuanji said, 100 years ago, they came to Yu State and settled here. So it's that Lu family. The purple mansion cultivator said, the situation of that Lu family is very bad. But, why is it bad? Lu Xuanji asked. This family is an outsider. After arriving here, they were ostracized by the local cultivators. There were also many bloody battles. They suffered a lot of losses in the battles, and many people died. It is said that the patriarch was also injured. The purple mansion cultivator spoke, talking about what had happened to the Lu family in Walong Mountain over the past 100 years. He narrated it in great detail. Lu Xuanji listened carefully. A trace of melancholy and a hint of murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Lu Fan has had a very bad life over the past 100 years. 100 years ago, Lu Fan led a part of the Lu family cultivators to settle in Yu State. At first, they spent a lot of spirit stones to buy a piece of land in Yu State and began to lay spirit veins, build formations, plant spirit rice and spirit medicine, develop the economy, and so on. At the beginning, it was calm. But soon, there were cultivators who came to provoke. There were constant frictions and fights. In the early days, those provocative cultivators were all defeated by the Lu family cultivators and suffered heavy losses. They just cared about their face and didn't kill them, and they were injured but not dead. But such behavior was seen as weak and bullied in the eyes of some demon cultivators, and they began to think of ways to plot against the Lu family. After the invasion of the Sea clan, the Six Desires Patriarch summoned the monks to resist the invasion of the Sea clan, and also summoned the Lu family monks. The Lu family was arranged to some dangerous positions and suffered heavy losses. Afterwards, they also used various reasons to delay the compensation funds, saying that the spiritual stones could not be circulated and would be paid in 10 years. As a result, 10 years after 10 years, several decades passed in a row, and still no compensation was given. Not only that, because of some territorial disputes, the two sides started a sword fighting competition, but as a result, some people cheated, and the Lu family lost miserably. After a while, the Purple Mansion monk left. Lu Xuanji's eyes flashed with murderous intent. His son was bullied, how could his father not vent his anger for him? The Wang family and the Zheng family are both nascent soul families, and they are both old families in Yu State. The Wang family has 3 nascent soul masters, and the Zheng family has 5 nascent soul masters. They are considered to be powerful. But I can't bully the weak with the big, so should I take action against the 3 half-step gods behind them? Lu Xuanji pondered, thinking about how to solve the problem next. These 2 families are just brats, and going directly to their door and slapping them a few times would be too much of a face-saving thing for them. It would be better to target the backers behind them. The Yu Kingdom is dominated by demon cultivators. They fear power but not virtue. Only by going forward and slapping them hard on the face a few times will they restrain themselves. Disciple, we will not go back to the Yu Kingdom for the time being, but we are going to challenge certain cultivators so that some people don't know how powerful I, Master Xuanji, am. Lu Xuanji smiled faintly. Li Qingwei was silent. Someone was going to be unlucky again. Yu State, White Bone Mountain Range. In the mountains, many white bones are piled up, mixed in the soil, and turned into a mountain that stretches for hundreds of miles. These bones include giant bones, monster bones, phoenix bones, golden crow bones, etc. Many bones are buried here, one after another. When heavy rain pours down, new white bones are exposed. Legend has it that this was once an ancient battlefield where countless monks fought together and countless monks fell together. On the road of corpses, it turned into the White Bone Mountain Range. Later, a demon cultivator came here, practiced the secret art of white bones, and founded the White Bone Demon Sect. As time passed, the White Bone Demon Sect gradually became a famous demon sect in Yu State. Every once in a while, many mortals and monks with poor spiritual roots came here and joined the White Bone Demon Sect to become one of them. Countless monks fell and turned into corpses here, but there were also a few monks who rose and became top demons. Chapter 524, Arrival at the White Bone Demon Sect. Near the White Bone Mountain, a group of teenagers are climbing. The youngest is only 8 years old, and the oldest is over 30 years old. There are more than 1,800 steps ahead, which are made of piled bones. There are array patterns engraved in them, which can form illusions to affect the minds of cultivators. The stronger the cultivation, the more suppressed they are, and the greater the impact. On the contrary, the lower the cultivation of mortals, the less impact they have. Plop. With a sound, a teenager rolled down the steps. He fell to the bottom. The illusion disappeared, and the boy's eyes were full of reluctance, anger, and helplessness. The next moment, there was another sound, and another teenager rolled down. The teenager who was originally unwilling was in a much better mood. At this time, another teenager stepped forward to climb the first step, but when he climbed the steps, he activated the array pattern and fell into an endless illusion. Some teenagers fell down, but some teenagers were climbing, one after another. But most teenagers would roll down the steps, and only a few people succeeded in climbing. The White Bone Steps are one of the entrance examinations for the White Bone Demon sect. Among the many sects in U-State, the White Bone Demon sect has the lowest requirements, and is most suitable for ordinary cultivators. To join some immortal cultivation families, one needs to have spiritual roots, at least 3 spiritual roots. To join the Heron Demon sect, women must be beautiful, men must be handsome, and ugly ones are not allowed. To join the Blood Demon sect, one needs strong blood and a certain talent for body refining. To join the White Bone Demon sect, one only needs to be determined. Regardless of birth background, whether rich or beggar, mortal or cultivator, whether or not there is a spiritual root, all are eligible for the assessment, and have the possibility of joining the White Bone Demon sect. As long as the will is firm, as long as you go through 1,800 steps, and reach the top of the mountain. I succeeded. At this moment, a young man climbed to the top of the mountain, and couldn't help shouting. The young men below the mountain saw this scene, and flashed a trace of jealousy and envy. The black-robed monk stepped forward and said, "Congratulations, you have become a rare and disciple of the White Bone Demon sect. You can get a bone refining art, to heavenly silkworm Taoist robes, a magic weapon, and several treasures. Thank you for your guidance, senior brother," the young man said happily, his body trembling slightly. Odd job disciples are also disciples of the Saints sect, and can also become immortal masters, becoming an existence above 10,000 people. If you dare to fight and get some opportunities, you may also become a foundation building ancestor. The black-robed man nodded, and led the young man away. I also want to become a monk of the White Bone Demon sect in the crowd. Zhang Yuan looked at this scene with a firm look in his eyes. When he was 8 years old, his family tested his spiritual roots, and he had no spiritual roots, so he was destined to be just a mortal. Seeing his friends embarking on the road of cultivation one after another, he was naturally very unwilling. So he trudged all the way to the White Bone Demon sect. It was because the White Bone Demon sect recruited disciples without looking at spiritual roots, qualifications, comprehension, luck, or background, but only looking at whether their state of mind was firm and their will was strong. This was his only choice. Zhang Yuan's footsteps flashed, and when he stepped onto the steps, he was in a trance and fell into a dream. After an unknown amount of time, Zhang Yuan opened his eyes and found himself standing on the top of a mountain, overlooking the mountains below. Congratulations, junior brother, for becoming a chosen disciple of the White Bone Demon sect, said the black-robed monk. Thank you, senior brother, Zhang Yuan responded excitedly. At this moment, a dark golden sun rose in the void, appearing 1,000 meters high, emitting a terrifying pressure, and its aura overwhelmed the world. Just a glance, Zhang Yuan felt his eyes hurt, and he couldn't help but look away, tears streaming down. At this moment, a voice came from the void. Master Xuanji, come to the White Bone Demon sect to ask for advice. Fang Wuliang, dare you fight me? As he spoke, the terrifying pressure came down. The spiritual energy in the void made a hissing sound, and the spiritual energy was running wild, like a tidal wave, and the terrifying pressure swept everything. Plop. Under this pressure, Zhang Yuan knelt on the ground on the spot. When he knelt down, the pressure on his body disappeared instantly. The black-clothed senior brother next to him wanted to stand up, but he also knelt down on the ground in less than 2 breaths. The nearby monks knelt down on the ground one after another like wheat being cut down, showing a look of submission, with horror in their eyes. There was fanaticism and envy in their expressions. Zhang Yuan knelt on the ground, and looked at the golden sun again at this moment. The sun's light dissipated, revealing the face of a handsome boy, with a slender and upright body, skin as white as jade, standing there, as if he had become the center of the world. The sky and the earth open for me, the sun and the moon rise for me, the long river flows for me, and the mountains dance for me. When I live, everything in the world exists. When I die, everything disappears. So powerful, this is a top-level true lord. Zhang Yuan's eyes showed fanaticism. He did not have a trace of resentment for the etiquette of kneeling down, but felt that it was natural. For ordinary cultivators to kneel before the true lord is not humiliation, but supreme honor, respect for strength, and humility to the peak. Daoyao, what is the matter with you coming to my white bone demon sect? A terrifying aura descended, like a spring breeze, and the terrifying pressure dissipated. A middle-aged man in white appeared in the void. He was elegant like a scholar. It was Fang Wuliang, whose Taoist name was Wuliang True Lord. You finally appeared. Lu Xuanji smiled. Fang Wuliang, the supreme elder of the White Bone Demon sect, a half-step god transformation strongman, once failed to break through the god transformation, but failed but not dead. He is the top giant of U state, and the top existence under the god transformation. Fang Wuliang is also the backstage behind the Wang family and the Zheng family. The Fang family's elder and the head of the Zheng family were all disciples of Fang Wuliang. It is possible that the Fang family and the Zheng family joined forces to suppress the Lu family, which has nothing to do with Fang Wuliang. After all, this person is busy with the god transformation and has no time to care about some small things. Finding Fang Wuliang to exchange some ideas is the best way to solve the problem. He is a top-level true lord and he also needs to maintain his dignity. Naturally, he cannot bully the weak and attack the Wang family and the Zheng family directly. Only Fang Wuliang can do it. In a flash, Lu Xuanji left the White Bone Demon sect, and Fang Wuliang followed closely. With a flash of golden light, Lu Xuanji landed 100 miles away and stopped. Fang Wuliang also stopped and asked, "What is your name, fellow Taoist?" "Chu State, Daniyang sect, Lu Xuanji." Lu Xuanji said. Fang Wuliang said, "I have heard of your name. But what is the matter with you coming to my White Bone Demon sect? I heard that fellow Taoist is a top-level strong man under the god transformation. I came here to ask for your advice and test the world with my sword." Lu Xuanji said, and a divine sword appeared on his palm. He said lightly, "Fellow Taoist, make your move." Fellow Taoist is in Chu state, and I'm in U state. It seems that we have no grudges. Fang Wuliang frowned. Chapter 525, 7 Bones and Treasures. One of my sons is named Lu Fan, and he was bullied. As a father, I have to vent my anger for my son. The Wang family and the Zheng family are just some juniors, and I can't bully the weak, so I came to find you to learn from me. Lu Xuanji said lightly. His tone was still calm, but the murderous aura on the blade was increasing. Fang Wuliang thought for a moment, but couldn't remember who Lu Fan was. As for the Wang family, the Zhao family, etc., they seemed to be the families founded by his disciples. He didn't bother to care who they provoked, who they became enemies with, who they fought with, etc. But now someone came to the door. It was impossible to reason, so let's fight. The strong are respected, and only the strong are qualified to say right and wrong. The weak are also wrong when they are right. I don't know about these grudges. Fang Wuliang said. However, after this battle, I hope that you and I will settle our grudges. In recent years, the situation of the human race has not been good. There have been constant unrest in the Chu state, and there have been constant unrest in the U state, and the situation is critical. If we continue to waste our energy like this, it will be disadvantageous to the human race. Of course, no matter the outcome of this battle, we understand our grudges. Lu Xuanji said. Daoyao, take it. Fang Wuliang said politely, like a scholar. But after he finished speaking, his whole body burst out with evil, cold, destructive, dark, despair, cruel, death and many other negative emotions rose up, and a mountain of bones appeared under his feet. The white bone magic sword appeared in his hand, and the surroundings gradually evolved into a white bone vision. The bones are like a mountain, forgetting the surname, nothing but a beauty and a young man. Fang Wuliang's footsteps flashed, and the white bone magic sword slashed and killed, and the murderous aura surged. Abandoning all the changes and tricks, there is only pure killing intent. Cut. Lu Xuanji's footsteps flashed, and he urged his long sword to slash out, turning into the ultimate extinction. Bang bang. The ultimate destruction collided and clashed together, and the breath of destruction collided together. The long sword flipped, like the tide surging, like the waves boiling, turning into waves of huge waves sweeping over, annihilating everything. The long sword slashed and killed, as if it evolved into a sea of corpses and blood, and evolved into endless death, burying all living beings and annihilating everything. Under the violent energy impact, the two retreated one after another. The two looked at each other, stepped forward again, and fought together. In order to avoid affecting the ground and hurting innocent people, Xuanji's footsteps flashed to a height of 10,000 meters, wielding various killing moves, many magical powers, and swordsmanship like ink splashing and sweeping over. Fang Wulian followed closely behind, and the killing moves came one after another. Fighting monsters with speed, hundreds of moves were exchanged in the blink of an eye. The two sides were evenly matched, and the battle was in a stalemate. What a powerful monster. He is only 1,200 years old, but he is already at the 8th level of Yuanying. In the past, at this age, I was not as good as him. Fang Wulian's eyes flashed with shock. But at the moment of shock, the fighting spirit was boiling, and the moves became more fierce and swept over. The immortal sects attach importance to qualifications and focus on hard work. Because hard work can make you invincible, why go out to fight and kill? The immortal way also attaches the most importance to the foundation. It may be unknown in the early stage, but when it comes to the golden elixir and yuanying, it is a great accumulation. But the magic sect is not the case. Most magic cultivators have poor qualifications, or even no qualifications at all, and can only practice magic skills. Because of poor qualifications, most magic cultivators often fight fiercely, constantly fight and fight bloody battles. In the bloody battles, rob resources. The magic cultivators have been killing all the way. Over the years, Fang Wulian has been constantly cultivating himself and suppressing the devil in his heart, and gradually embarked on the road from devil to immortal. In the eyes of outsiders, he seems to be an elegant scholar and a handsome man, but in his bones he is still the essence of a great devil. As the will to fight boiled, the demonic energy surged like a tide, and the aura on his body rose steadily, as if there was no end. His magic power increased by 3 levels. His mind was demonized, his face was distorted, and black arrows. With the bombardment of destruction, Xuanji was beaten out, his 5 internal organs were heaving, and the corners of his mouth were bleeding. The 7 treasures of bones will shock the world. Please taste them. Fang Wulian shouted, and he broke out completely. The bone relic in the dungeon glowed with boundless white light, like a rising sun, transforming into majestic manner to support the operation of the magical power. The bone demon merged into the body to enhance the strength of the body. The bone palace rose and fell between the eyebrows, and the many formations carved on it all started to operate. The bone magic sword continued to grow longer, turning into a 10-foot long magic sword, as if to cut through the void. The 12 bone needles flew up and down, as if ready to assassinate at any time. The bone shuttle flashed in the void, like an assassin, ready to evolve into a fatal blow at any time. The ethereal bone banner shook in the void, and each shake caused the cultivator's blood to boil, and at the same time, evolved into a mental attack. By activating the 7 white bone treasures, Fang Wulian's combat power increased terribly, and it seemed to evolve into endless destruction. Not bad, but it's just not bad. Xuanji smiled, and his magic power poured into the long sword again. The yin and yang gathered, the 5 elements were born and destroyed, the power of the stars condensed, the force of the magnetism gathered, the 2 forces of time and space gathered, and the power of extinction surged. Many powers gathered together and merged into the long sword. The long sword was shaking, and its power was constantly increasing. Finally, it turned into 9-colored divine light and chopped out. The great 5-element yin and yang elemental magnetic starlight universe extinction divine sword. This supreme magical power was used again. In the past, this supreme magical power was indeed amazingly powerful, but the pre-swing time was too short, resulting in flaws and easy interruption. But with the improvement of cultivation, not only the pre-swing time was shortened, but the explosive power was also increasing, and the destructive power was unprecedentedly improved. Sizzle. The 9-colored divine light flashed, and it seemed that a lightning appeared in the void. Fang Wulian was horrified and urged the magic weapon to resist, but the white bones and 7 treasures made wailing sounds, suffered heavy damage, and fell to the ground. Sizzle. The long knife slashed and passed through the center of his brow. Tick. Tick. Blood fell. Fang Wulian touched the center of his brow, and immediately his fingers became slightly hot, and a trace of blood appeared on his fingertips. Xuanji had already put away his knife and stood aside, calm and composed, like a young man in white. What a fast knife. Fang Wuliang exclaimed, with a trace of fear in his eyes. Sweat soaked his body, and his body was cold. If the long knife was passed 2 inches forward, his head would be split open and his nascent soul would be destroyed. Fellow Daoist Wuliang, I'm leaving my son Lu Fan in your care. You are the senior, and you are the uncle. You should discipline him a little. If he doesn't listen, take off your shoes and slap him in the face with your boots. Lu Xuanji smiled. At home, rely on your parents, and when you go out, rely on your seniors. Daoist, please discipline my son a lot. Of course. Fang Wuliang said. Goodbye. Lu Xuanji said, and a moment later, a golden light flashed under his feet and he disappeared. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.